Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to As the Prop Turns Live, special edition. I'm pleased to have Redbeard, my buddy. Everybody knows him as Andrew Hubble. I knew you as Redbeard before that. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming.
It has been, and you
Yeah.
know, meeting you last year before ever Key West ever happened, and then coming this year to St. Pete, and I look over and you're over there in that blue IHRA shirt. I was, man, what's going on here? So that's everybody's going to find out. We go way back, kind
Oh,
of,
yeah.
and
Yep.
so Andrew,
We definitely
thanks
have
for
a
joining.
mutual friend, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. How did all this become? Because again, when I met you, you had the big screen. You were doing a lot of things with X Insurance, Rick Lindsay. I call the Sky
Yeah.
Boss. So give us your background, man.
Man. So I guess my actual background for those who don't know me, because I've done a lot behind the scenes, and most people don't even know who I am or what I've done. But my background is um, I spent 20 plus years in the oil field, civil construction, had my own business, worked on the North Slope, spent 12 of those years up in North Dakota. Worked North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and yeah, had my own business, had several employees. I've always been a spectator. I've always been that fascination with offshore. It's always been there. I mean, I went to my first race in 1984. So, being on that side of the things, and being a spectator, you always have ideas. You always sit back and watch it, and you think, oh man, should have done this or should have done that. And never owning a race team, never actual throttling or driving the boat or anything, you always have a different point of view of everything, of how it should go. So, yeah, I got hooked up with Rick Lindsay, the Sky Boss, as you call him. It's kind of crazy, man. He put something on Instagram one day, and I'm not a big social media guy, but I just happened to sit there and scrolling through, and and I knew who he was, obviously. Um, and he's like, "Yeah, hit me up if you got a great idea." And I'm like, "Buddy, I've got some ideas." So I wrote him an email. It was like this 3 or 4 paragraph email, and I kid you not, the next day he calls me, and 2 weeks later I'm in Utah, sitting at this man's house at his kitchen table, having dinner and just talking.
Unreal.
And that's really how I got on the other side of things. I went from being a spectator with ideas and a business owner, owned multiple businesses, to now I'm in, and it was literally thanks to him bringing me in. So yeah, had the screen, had that idea, helped design it, build it. Well, I didn't personally build it, but and yeah, I had the screen for a while. Don't have that no more. Got rid of it, and here I am, man.
Well,
It's
let's
it's,
let's
it's a
talk about
crazy
it because
story.
here you are. You're working for the IHRA. I see you. You're director of operations, and then at some point, you get promoted to the offshore president. I believe Cocoa Beach when Leah Martin was terminated.
Yeah, I mean, how far do you want to go? I mean,
Well,
I can, I mean, look, man, I can tell all. I mean, this is what this platform's for, right? I mean, people are
well,
going to be watching this and they're going to want to know how far, how deep was I with the IHRA? Like, as far as the whole firing of Leah, how that all transpired, and Leah as a whole, and then just everything that's transpired from that. I mean,
right.
so
Well,
I guess where I'll start is in Key West of last year. I knew Leah. Her and I had some conversations. Um, Obviously, I knew at that point she was coming over to IHRA. I don't know. I don't even think it had been announced yet that she's going to be president or anything. Her and I just had some discussions in Key West. Nothing crazy. Um, you know, Things happen. I didn't know if Rick Lindsay what he was doing. Was he racing, not racing? I'm not somebody that's going to reach out and just bug somebody. I did reach out to him a few times, and I got a phone call from Lee. I ended up going to PRI in Indianapolis on my own. That's when I really started doing my research and homework on who is IHRA, how did this come about, who's Daryl, like started doing my research on him, and I thought, you know what, maybe this could be the next big thing. I mean, this could be it. I mean, I'm passionate about offshore. I love the sport. I want to see the sport grow, and one thing led to another. I'm in negotiations with Tommy. Tommy was previously with X Insurance, came over, was vice president of IHRA. We worked out a deal, and Leah and Tommy welcomed me, man, with open arms. And I started with IHRA. I mean, that's how the whole thing started. I mean, truth be told. Right. And you know, once I got in, I just kind of, you know, sat back, kind of observed everything. You know, wanted to see what this operation was like. Yeah, just kind of went from there, man. Just kind of exploring through the operation, through the company, and there was red flags in the very, very beginning. But with any company, there's no company out there that's perfect, right?
Correct.
So I just kind of overlooked them.
Well, looking back, were there warning signs that you didn't catch that, you know, maybe looking back now, you know, again, I mean, that all happened so fast that weekend, and my opinion of it was kind of an embarrassment because you got all your dirty laundry out on the internet and just, you know, the way it all went down. But
look, I'm going to say this. So, you know, I told you when we do this podcast, there's nothing off the table. I mean, anything you ask me, I'm going to be very straight up and honest about. You know, everybody may not agree with me or, you know, whatever, but everything that I'm going to say is from my perspective, you know, my opinion, my perspective, and what I went through. And at the end of the day, lover, hater, doesn't matter to me. I could care less. Leah Martin's never done anything to me. I mean, that whole firing situation, that wasn't planned by me. You know, there was no like crazy plan that we're going to fire Leah Martin in the middle of Cocoa Beach and let's watch the internet blow up. No, that whole thing, the way it transpired, and I'll get into it here in a minute, but I could tell you that I was just as surprised as she was. It's just my surprisement came a few hours. Well, it came a day before, like, right, know, and how that whole thing transpired.
Like a company would, like, till a Monday and handle their business quietly on a Monday.
I truly thought it was going to be Monday. I mean,
right,
all the way down to, I mean, look, I'll just kind of go through and tell the story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cocoa Beach. Yeah, so Cocoa Beach. A couple weeks before Cocoa Beach happened, I drove there on my own. I drove down to Cocoa. So I'm from Nashville, by the way, and I had a place down by Tampa. But I drove to Cocoa Beach, and things just weren't adding up to me. Things weren't making sense. So I figured, well, hell with it. I'll just drive down there. I go down there, and I'm putting pieces of the puzzle together. Keep in mind, this is a few weeks before the race is happening. So 15 years prior, this race was held by Carrie, Kevin, and Jenny. And I mean, 15 years. I mean, the whole plan was just let them run the race. And then we were going to shadow. If we wanted to make changes, I say we as a new organization, we could have made the changes the following year. You know, basically my thought was we're going to go there. We're going to take notes. We're going to see what we liked, disliked. We're going to rehuddle. And, you know, we'll make changes. Well, Leah had a different approach. She wanted to make the changes right then. I mean, you know, if you know Leah, if Leah wants it, hey, man, she's the president. We're going to do whatever. So a lot of things changed right on the fly. We moved the track. You know, we took it away from the city, put it up by the pier. I went down there. I made the deal with with Andrew, the Cocoa Beach Pier. You know, I constructed that deal, sent it back to Leah. She signed everything. So many things happened within those 2 weeks, but also things weren't making sense. The permitting wasn't making sense to me. You know, there's multiple things that weren't making sense. So I go back and I pretty much put this report together, and I'm like, okay, some of the permitting is not right. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And keep in mind, we're 2 weeks from race, right? So now we're like down to a week, and we're still planning and organizing this race. That's how St. Pete was. That's how New Orleans was. This is how Cocoa Beach was. what a lot of people didn't see in the background is, they think we just pulled up and everything's hunky dory and we had a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Now, I can promise you that every race we did up into the Friday of the race, like we're still in planning phase. I mean, and I have my own personal reasons for that. I think there's no fingers to truly be pointed, but again, you can look at the leadership and just kind of go from there. But so anyhow, I find out Thursday we do not have a permit from the Army Corps of Engineer. So I get on the phone with Leah, get on the phone with Thomas Covington. Well, we're
Thursday before the race.
Yeah, this is Thursday. We don't have an Army Corps of Engineer permit for the race the next day. And I get this email from the port, and you don't mess with the port. And the port pretty much said, "Hey, look, we're shutting you down tomorrow at noon, Friday at noon. You got to have this permit." And again, this was all in my findings from earlier. So at 4:40 Thursday afternoon, I go down to the Army Corps of Engineer permitting office, and I've got my son with me. And I mean, look, man, I walked in there and I just told him, I took the blame. I didn't blame anybody. Any one of these guys will tell you, "Hey, look, man, I messed up. I need this permit." It's not like I'm going to say, "Oh, this person messed up," or it's this person's fault and I'm coming in here to be the savior. At the end of the day, none of that mattered. I just needed these guys to give me a permit. So I'm the one standing in front of them. I'll take the hit. And I mean, it got all the way down to where, I'll be honest, I was telling these guys, "Look, I'm going to lose my job over this. I mean, I've got a wife and kids. Like, I'm letting all these racers down. They're already here. I mean, these guys are pulling in. They're already, they're ready." And so long story short, the next morning we get the permit. We got the permit about 10 o'clock and we had till noon. So that's how all these races happen, man. It's, not to that extent, but all these races, every single race we did, it's like we were planning up to the last minute. And I just couldn't understand any of this. So getting back on track, I get a phone call and I don't know the number. Keep in mind, I do not know Daryl at this point. I've never met him. Don't know anything about this. I know about him, but I've never met him. I've never had a conversation with him. So I get a phone call. I don't answer it. And then I get a message and it says, "Andrew, this is Daryl. Call me ASAP." And I said, "Oh, shit. What the hell did I do?" You know what I mean? Like, why is this guy calling me? Now, keep in mind, I'm not thinking the permit. I'm just thinking, why is this guy calling me? So I call him back and he said, "I'm getting ready to get on my jet. I'm going to be at, such and such hotel." I can't remember what hotel it was. And he said, I want you to meet me there at 5:30. And I said, "Hey, hold on, man. Time out. If I'm coming, I'm bringing somebody with me. Like, not trying to be rude, but dude, I don't know you. Like, I'm not coming by myself." You know what I mean? He said, who are you going to bring?" I said, "Well, I'm going to bring a friend of mine named Tommy." He said, "Who's Tommy?" And I said, "Well, Tommy Tomassis, the guy that used to work for you that quit." He said, "Oh, I love Tommy. Bring Tommy." I'm like, "You love him? Whatever." So I called Tommy and I'm like, "Man, you're never going to believe this." He's like, "What? Try me." Now, keep in mind, Tommy's in Cocoa Beach. Obviously, that's why I invited him. I said, "I just got a phone call from Daryl. Daryl wants to meet in this hotel." And he's like, "Why?" I said, "I have no idea." I said, "But I do know one thing. I'm not going alone." You know what I mean? "And you're coming with me." And I had another buddy with me, Jared, at the time, and I was telling Jared about it. And I could have brought Jared, but Tommy's a lawyer. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
going to take the lawyer with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't think Jared even wanted any part of it. So long story short, I'm getting text messages from Daryl's assistant, or whatever. I don't know what she is. Her name's Becky, but anyhow, I'm getting text messages. "Hey, we're running late, blah, blah." Long story short, we meet inside this hotel. Okay, we're in Cocoa Beach. We're at the hotel. Daryl and Becky's checking in. They go do their thing. They come down. The first thing he says when he sat down is, he said, "I want Leah fired." He goes, "I should have listened to Dave a long time ago. I want Leah fired." I'm like, "Okay, hold on. First, who's Dave?" And like, okay, like if that's what you want, do your thing, man. Like, why am I? Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I didn't care, but it's like at the same time, it's like, why are you bringing me here? And he just starts rambling on about, he's been talking to Dave, and there's these plans for him to start this LLC and be an advisor, and and you know, changing everything around. And I'm just like, okay, like, again, man, if that's what you want to do, like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, why am I there? You know what I mean? I've never had a conversation with you. I don't know you. I mean, yeah, you got Leah. Tommy's gone, so I guess you can kind of say I'm under Leah, kinda. But keep in mind, she's the president of the company.
Right.
She's not the president of offshore. So when you have her, there's multiple people before you get to me. I mean, I'm way down. So everything just kind of caught me off guard. And then he said, "Is it true that you went and got the permit Thursday? Friday." And then it hit me. I said, "Yeah, that's why he's here. This is like the final straw. Somebody's reached out to him. Somebody's told him. However you want to look at it, you know, whether he needed this as a reason or whatever, this is the reason. Here we go." And I said, "Yeah, it's true." And he said, "What happened?" I mean, didn't have the permit. I mean, at the end of the day, we just didn't have it. And I went down there and begged for it, begged and pleaded and borrowed, and we got it at 10 o'clock Friday, and we're going to race. So he wanted me to fire her that night. And it's like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, wait, what? Like, you want me to fire Leah? I mean, like I said, love or hate her, it doesn't matter to me. Like,
Right.
she's never done anything wrong to me. I mean, did Leah and I agree on everything under the sun? No, we didn't. Is our management styles the same? It's not. Can anybody single-handedly say Leah's the 100% reason why this, that, or that? Maybe on some things, but not everything. So at the end of the day, why would you want me to fire her? So I said, well, let's do this. Let's sleep on it. And I said, man, there's a lot of things that have to happen. And he said, can you be president of offshore? And I said, oh, I mean, absolutely. I said, but if I'm going to be president, there's some things that got to happen. First and foremost, I need to completely rework this budget completely from A to Z. I need to restructure the team. The team we had was great people. I do believe that some people weren't the right fit and everybody has a seat on the bus. I think some of the people could have moved seats. I think you could have done a lot more with less. I truly do. I think the marketing and the media team side of things, could have been, and this is no stab at the girl that was in charge of this. I think the marketing and the media, if she was given the tools to do her job, let's just be honest about this. It wasn't her fault. You got to have a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Like everything that was, and he said, yeah, we shook hands. I said, okay, well, I'm going to hold you to this because I'm going to put all this in writing. And then he looks over at Tommy and he says, can you be president of, now keep in mind, Tommy was the vice president of this company. He resigned, sent this great big email and, hey, here's why I'm resigning. And Daryl's response was WTF with like a few explanation points when he resigned. Back up to when I got the call and he's like, oh, I love Tommy. And I'm like, wait, again, I was confused. So he looks at Tommy, he's like, can you be president of IHRA? And Tommy's like, oh man, like didn't see this coming. Sure. But truth be told, Tommy was never going to be the president long term. There was another plan in place, and we all knew it before we left that night. Tommy was the intermediate president. Tommy was going to have a different role within the company. I don't know what it was. He could have been the president with working with this new advisory board. And Dave was persistent on, somebody else being president. As far as Dustin being president, and Dustin, I don't think he had any desire to be president. Him and I joked about it before. back when he was at Lake Havasu with Leah and Justin Martin, Ashley, and her husband, and Dustin was there with Dave. I mean, there was, just joking around, about, Dustin taking over and being president. Just, a couple grown guys joking. But you got to keep in mind, I don't think Dustin needed it. I mean, I don't think he was in a good position. He was taking over PWC. He was doing sponsorships. I mean, this isn't something I don't think the guy really needed. But anyhow, the plan was Tommy was never going to be full time. There was a whole plan for pretty much Monster Energy to come in there and just kind of take over. So, long story short, we walk out of the hotel. We're looking at each other like, what the heck just happened, man? I mean, think about that. Think about being in that situation. I mean, you've got a guy who owns this company you've never met, you don't know him. I mean, he owns multiple companies, and he calls you, and the next thing you know, he wants you to fire somebody that night, and he doesn't know me. But anyhow, yeah, everybody's going to sleep on it. So the next morning, this being Sunday morning, I'm up there at the driver's meeting. I'm talking with my best friend Jared, and I'm filling him in. I'm telling Jared. I mean, we were in this hotel conversation for a while. I mean, we were there for several hours. So when I left there, I didn't call anybody. I went back to my room, took a shower, laid in bed, told my wife, "You're never gonna believe this."
Right.
She didn't believe it. I mean, she believed it, but she was like, "This makes no sense." And I'm like, "Yeah, it makes no sense either." So anyhow, the next morning, I'm up there at the driver's stand. I'm talking with Jared, and I get a phone call from Tommy. He said, "Where you at?" I said, "Well, I'm up here." And he said, "I need you to come to Daryl's trailer." And I said, "Well, which one's Daryl's trailer?" Like, I knew he was going to be driving the guitar boat, obviously. So is that the trailer? And he's like, "Yeah." So cool. So I go into, I'm reading some of these messages.
Yeah,
and
both ends, man.
these messages are crazy. So I go into this trailer, and you got Tommy standing to my left. I mean, you got Ray Lee in there. You've got Daryl in there, Becky in there. I mean, there's, Steve's in there, and I believe his wife, and everybody's kind of talking, and pretty much the conversation was already started before I walked in, but it's pretty much like, hey, here's what's happening. Andrew's going to go fire Leah. Andrew's taking over offshore. Him and I have an agreement. Tommy's the new president, and that was it. And I mean, basically it's like, walk out of the trailer and go fire her right now. And I'm just like, guys, hold on, like, time out. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, why me? And honestly, I didn't think it wasn't right to do it in the middle of a race, man. It just wasn't. It was not right. Whether it's the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, it wasn't right. So I leave the trailer. I'm back up there at the front, and I see Daryl sitting under the tent talking to somebody, and you can see the hand motions. He's doing this. And my phone's going off. Me and Tommy are looking at each other like, oh my God, like he's up there telling people.
It's all happening.
And then I get the phone call and said, hey, I think this is gonna, and this is from Becky, and she's like, I think this is gonna probably happen sooner than later. Daryl's telling people, and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, let's just hold off. Let's just hold off, man. Let's just get through the day. So at that point in time, I went to race control. I went to the pier, and I had this in the back of my mind, but I had a job to do, and I truly thought, let's just let time pass. Let's get the day over with. She's going to pack up with her family. She's going to go back to Missouri. Everybody, and then they'll just hash this out. I mean, I truly thought that. I was even with Tommy, and I said, look, man, this is all just talk, dude. Let's just let them hash it out. And then I get the phone call, and it was, you need to do it, and I mean right now. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, now. And it was one of those calls, one of those tones where you almost felt like it's like you just knew. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. It's like, was it the right time? No. going back, I get it. Trust me, we can all speculate. Go back and hindsight's 2020. But it was one of those phone calls where it's like, oh crap. So I looked at Tommy and I said, first things first, dude. Respectfully, Justin's leaving. I mean, that's his wife. I get it. We need a replacement. We need a pace boat replacement. I called Chuck Mewis up and said, hey, can you do it? And of course, Chuck's scrambling and he goes down there. Safety director, the whole 9 yards. And I walked up the race control and pulled her aside. I pulled her away from everybody. And I told her, and it was me, her, and Tommy. And I said, effective immediately, you're no longer employed with IHRA. And this is per Daryl. Now, imagine being the president of an organization and you have your director of operations of a discipline. Not, you have the director of operations come out and tell you you're fired in the middle of a race. Her first reaction was like, yeah, okay. And then Tommy said, no, this is, he validated it. So, I mean, yeah, the devastation, the whole 9 yards, the delay in the race. I mean, just everything went to shit after that. You know what I mean? And just being honest, everything went crazy, the whole 9 yards. And it's that's how it happened. It wasn't like I've had so many people think, and they've called me, text me, whatever, and they're like, "Oh man, how did you pull that off?" And I'm like, "Dude, there was no plan." Again, love or hate her, it doesn't matter what you think. I didn't have any problems with Leah personally. She never did nothing to me personally. I mean, I've seen other dealings that she did. Okay. We didn't see eye to eye on some things, but I would have never fired her in the middle of a race, man. I say I never would have, but and I know I did. But I mean, it's like it's not like I woke up that morning and said, "All right, the plan's on."
Well, it doesn't sound like you were given much of a choice.
I wasn't given a choice, man.
Right.
I mean, let me take that back. Hindsight's 2020. I could have easily said not happening because I had said that multiple times leading up to that.
That could have cost you your job too. So,
it could have.
Looking back on it, unfortunately, it's a dog eat dog world, and
it is a dog eat dog world, man. It was like when that dad calls you and he's like yelling at you because you moved a screwdriver out of his box or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like that was that tone. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh man, like he's serious. Like every other time, it was like just based on emotions. Like, man, he's actually serious right now. Like, holy crap. So
rebuilding trust. I mean, and that's so we keep going. Now you and Tommy are at the helm, and I kind of remember.
Well, that was short-lived, wasn't it?
Tommy and he wanted me to meet Andrew, and I'm like, cool, man, send me his number. And Tommy sends me your number, and I'm like, that's already in my phone. So that's what I text you, like, hey, this is Chris Redbeard.
Yeah.
It's just funny because now we got you there, and I really feel like in the Ozarks you gave some speeches. And I really feel like you were their last great hope to hold all these guys that have come to this platform under their table, or under their tent. And you were honest, and so obviously, you stepped into a difficult situation, but how much authority did you actually have?
None. I mean, I'll answer that real easy. None. So after all this transpired, Monday morning, Tommy's president. The company. I'm president of Offshore. I mean, look, we're going to tell all on this podcast, right? There's nothing holding back, right? You good with it?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I mean, as long as this is the truthful stuff, because that's my platform is truthful. And again, I'm going to say to my fans, we're not here to tear anybody down. We're just telling a story.
No, man, I'm not
and this
doing
is
that.
what my platform's about, is bringing you the inside story and the truth. Because
I'm not going to say anything on here that's not the truth. And like I said, everything is from my perspective. And I mean, this is the God's honest truth. Monday morning, first thing Tommy and I were doing was pulling contracts from sponsors, and we're just going over them. I mean, I don't think some people know, some people don't know. I mean, I already knew what some of the contracts. I mean, look, there's only two sponsors out there, right? I already knew what the contracts were. I'd already got them sent to me a long time ago. Um, me and Tommy got a hold of the IHRA attorney, and we had the contract sent. And basically, what we were going to do is we were just going to reevaluate these contracts, and we were going to pretty much tell these sponsors to shit or get off the pot. And that's the easiest way to put it. Look, anybody in this industry and anybody at the level that me and Tommy were at, when you have sponsors coming in and they're giving you $300,000 for the entire organization, for the entire series, I'm sorry, for the entire offshore series, okay? When they're giving you 300K for the entire offshore series, but you have to treat them like royalty, and you can sit back on the inside and you can see everything that's going on. I mean, look, man, fair is fair. Like, $300,000 isn't going to cut it. Like, if that's all you want to give, that's fine. But I'm going to give you $300,000 in return of my effort. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying you got to give more. I mean, you can give whatever you want. But I'm just saying that, it's you're going to get what you get. You know what I mean? Like, if you give me 300K for the series, that's for every single race. Break that down between every race and what that transpires to. And then all the activations, we had to tote stuff around, and this everything that was going on. I'm just like, dude, there's no way. Like, I told Tommy, I said, look, I'm not saying cancel it, and I don't think his mind was saying cancel the contract by no means, but there had to be some serious conversations had with both sponsors on, I mean, look, this ain't gonna work. I mean, at the end of the day, $300,000 is not a lot. And I knew that we could go out and get more sponsors. Could we do it overnight? No. Does that 300,000 help? Sure, it helps. But I knew that at that moment, Monday morning, when I woke up, my job started. As president of offshore for IHRA, my job truly started. It started the night before, but my job started that morning on, it's time to put a plan together. It's time to go through budgets. It's time to, get the team back on track. That was so short-lived, less than 24 hours. I mean, I had a yellow notepad of, how everything should be structured. And it wasn't like my way or the highway. It's like, look, we need to all sit down. We need to build this budget as a team. We need, first and foremost, we need the budget approved. Well, I don't think that was ever going to happen. I mean, look, when Leah was there, I mean, one of the things she always said was, Andrew, she would wake up on a Monday and she's like, yep, I got, we were good to move forward. Hell, by Monday at 2:00, she's getting screamed and yelled at. You know what I mean? Stop spending money. Well, then Tuesday at 9 a.m., it's like, why aren't you spending more money? So it's like, it was like always up and down. But my thing was, I was going to come in strong. I was just going to say, hey, look, we're going to build this as a team. We're going to do the budget. That's the handshake Daryl and I had. That's the, for me taking this job, that's what had to happen. 24 hours later, man, everything
Why did
changed.
Tommy exit so quickly after he was announced as president?
Well, that wasn't on purpose. So 24 hours later, you got to understand, me and Tommy woke up Monday morning and it was like, whatever just happened, but it's time to just move forward at this point, and I'm not a big social media, like I don't get on there and read everything all the time. But and so I wasn't going to get distracted by the white noise. My job was just to build it and move forward. Within 24 hours, I get a phone call from Dustin, and it says, hey, he goes, hey, you got a minute? I was like, yeah. He goes, I've got Daryl on the phone. I was like, all right, what's up? And, long story short, I get told that Tommy's no longer president. Dustin's president. Daryl says, I'm so sorry. And, of course, I called Tommy, and they had already called him and told him that he's no longer president. Dustin's the president. And at that point in time, Tommy had no title. So keep in mind, this is Tuesday.
Yeah.
24 hours, man. Tommy has no title. He's no longer president. I think I'm still president of offshore. I mean, think about this. There was never an announcement about me ever being president.
No.
We all knew it internally. Um, and I never pushed for it. I mean, I didn't care if the world knew I was president. I just knew what I had to do was my job, and if it comes out, it comes out. Um, Within 24 hours, everything changed. Next thing you know, Monster Energy's taking over. Dustin's in the seat. Dave's Dave's on the advisory board.
And
So
you
to
say Dave,
speak.
is that Dave Gowan?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And he's with Monster
and
Energy also.
yeah, man, it just everything changed. I mean, everything changed. It's like all the wind was taken out of your sails because I got along with Dustin. Me and Dustin got along great. I had no issues with him up until this point, you know what I mean? But I knew when I got that phone call and I called Tommy, Tommy literally told me that he goes, "I'll be out of here within a week." They will get, because you got to remember we were pulling contracts to go back and talk to sponsors and tell them like, there's only two sponsors. I mean, really, you know,
And
there's
the
only
sponsors
Progressive
are
and Monster Energy.
Good Boy
Yeah,
Vodka.
Monster Energy and Progressive. And
Oh,
it's like, look,
Progressive.
we were pulling, yeah, yeah, and we were pulling contracts to go back and pretty much tell these guys like, look, I mean, something's got to give here. Something's got to change. Like, I mean, you want to sponsor a whole series for 300K? Come on, man, get out of here. Like, I mean, nah, it wouldn't happen. I mean, it just no, not with the way that we had to just bend over for these guys. No, not in a million years. So anyhow, um, so yeah, 24 hours later, Tommy's no longer president. Dustin's president. I guess I'm president of offshore. It was confirmed, but it's like all the power was stripped. I mean, it's like anything you do going forward has to go through me, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna build my budget. Don't have time for that right now. All right. Well, I need to work on this team. Then I got told that certain people had to be on the team, which I didn't even care because some of the people he told me, it's like they were already on the team. And I guess he thought maybe we didn't get along, but actually, one of the guys, I get along great. I still work with him to this day. I mean, I still talk to him this day. And it's like, I don't know. It was just all weird, man. It's like everything was stripped from me within 24 hours. So we're going through the motions. Keep in mind, there's something else that Tommy and I did in that short 24-hour window, even after everything got stripped. Tommy lost, wasn't president. I was still president of offshore, whatever. Tommy and I still pushed forward with this agenda. And what that is we were trying to work up some way, somehow, we were trying to structure it to where we can unify the sport. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that mattered to both him and I was just unifying the sport for the sport. And we were trying to work out a deal with RWO and everything else. And how can we come together some way, somehow? You know what I mean? There's all kinds of speculations out there, but there was never anything like set in stone. It was all just conversations like, how can we do this? And, what would this look like? And, how could this benefit the sport? Like, I mean, truth be told, I mean, look, Larry kept his head down this entire time. Everybody jumped on the IHR bandwagon. Larry kept his head down, kept moving forward. Everybody was saying, Leah's telling people she's getting UIM. Daryl's telling people he's getting UIM. What's Larry do? He goes out and gets UIM. I mean, so I say all that to say that there was things that we're trying to put in motion to unify everything, and by the end of that week, Tommy gets a I think it's a text message. I think it was a text message. Tommy gets a text message from the freaking pilot. Out of all people, the pilot. I've never met this guy a day in my life. I don't know anything about this guy. I mean, I've never seen an organization where a pilot has this kind of control over anybody or anything. Tommy gets a text message from the pilot that says, "Hey, you're terminated. We don't need you no more." Tommy calls me and he's like, I just got fired. And I said, what? Yeah, the pilot just fired me. Dude, I don't know, man. Everything was crazy. There was no structure in that company. And I'm not just saying this. I mean, look, I've been to Ohio. I've sat down with everybody there. I can single-handedly tell you the truth. There's not a single person in that Ohio office in Hamilton, Ohio, that works for IHRA that wants offshore to happen. Not one. Not a single one. Nobody. Nobody wanted offshore to happen. So all the IHRA employees were the Rana hybrid employees. So there was this. I mean, they got thrown into this. You know what I mean? Daryl goes out and buys IHRA. Instead of building a new team, he just pulled the Rana people over and said, "Here, figure it out, make it happen."
Right.
Well, I mean, you got all these disciplines. You know, you got stock car, drag, and pull, and and PWCs and offshore. So they all hated offshore. I think they all hated everything, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, figuratively speaking, it's like they were thrown into a mess. But yeah, he gets fired by the pilot, man. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, can he do that? I mean, can the pilot really fire you? So I'm sitting there thinking, well, shit, I guess I'm getting fired by the pilot next. You know what I mean? And never happened. The pilot calls me, and starts talking to me, and I'm thinking any moment it's coming. Never got rid of me. Told me to keep up the good work. Hangs the phone up.
Jesus. So
I mean,
in the Ozarks, when we're all in the Ozarks and you finally got to get in front of everyone,
yeah.
well, I got some great comments and questions over here, man.
Oh, dude, my phone's
I
going nuts. I
appreciate
ain't even looked
everybody
at
that's
it.
sticking around to watch this tonight. We did this, Andrew and I, spur of the moment.
Yeah.
They're
They're actually going to tape this and then go back and just do it. And you and your wife,
well,
last minute just said, "Hey, let's just go,
right.
man." I mean,
And I give all the credit to Britt Lilly for my lives now because I screwed up.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, everybody. I hit the wrong button the first time I went to work in the studio when Amber let me kind of, okay, do it on your own. Here you go. And I had to interrupt the guys and I just remember Britt saying, "Man, F it, roll with it." And I was like, "All right." So, here
roll with
we
it, man.
are.
That's a great guy, by the way. I love Britt, man.
Bill Piper and
awesome.
those guys, super
Bill,
people.
Bill
super
Pyburn's the most underestimated guy in the sport. Hands down, the most underestimated guy in offshore. Guarantee it.
He's pretty.
Love him,
slick.
hate him. I don't care what's
Right.
your personal opinion about him. Doesn't mean shit to me. I do think he's one of the most underestimated guys in the sport. I really do.
Well, and I think if people should really listen to what you're saying because you're right. And I remember I got some information, and I sent it to Bill, and he's coy, man, and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool. I wish that was true." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I said something else slick, and next thing you know, he's calling me. He's like, "Man, where do you hear this at?" But he's great. They're great. I want to give his wife a shout out, the Boat Babe. She's on TikTok. Check out her platform. Her content's incredible, dude. It's
Is it really?
cool.
I gotta go check it out.
Yeah, just all super good people. TJ, all the guys.
Yeah.
Adam,
Bobby. Look,
Bobby,
we have
oh.
to give Bobby a shout out. You have to. You
Yeah.
can't even, every podcast you do, no matter who's on it, you should start your podcast out with just saying, "Hi, Bobby. Good to see you." Because he's watching.
Well, I got to be careful. A lot of these guys, they've gotten smart. They know how to tune into these, and sometimes these
Yeah,
guys
I know.
pop in on me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got.
I'm
Ray
waiting for
Labatt-
somebody to pop in right now and ask me questions.
Well, I got Ray Labadie out there just said something, and Ray Labattie's the guy that's in charge of the Inglewood Offshore, the Inglewood.
Yeah, I know
Water
Ray.
Fest. And I encourage everybody to go to that. They got a prize purse that sounds like a great venue. I encourage Michigan City's coming up. I got Jack Arnett wanting to talk, but we're getting off subject.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Ozarks because down there you're in charge.
Yeah.
You're president.
It was.
But I had the pleasure that weekend of helping some friends of mine, Brian Clinic with Twisted, him and Jax, and Evil Ed Smith, and Billy Gluck in the Knucklehead boat. And those guys all got ready on Sunday. I wasn't privy to the Saturday stuff. I was busy, but here's my experience Sunday with IHRA and the whole deal. These
Okay.
guys get told to suit up. That's the 15 minutes. Then the pace boat comes, takes them. Brian's cameras, everything get turned on in the boat. They floated an hour and 17 minutes. My question for
Yeah.
you tonight is, why did that jet ski race happen right before Super V was to get launched when the pace boats came and got them?
Offshore didn't matter. I mean, just offshore did not matter. This was a PWC event. This was a Monster Energy event. Dave Gowan and Dustin controlled that whole event. And look, I can tell you that I was not in race control. So leading up to Lake of the Ozarks, there was zero planning with Lake of the Ozarks. Now, okay, from IHRA side, the Lake of the Ozarks race, that was all done by the board members from Lake of the Ozarks. So we had not had one single meeting, or at least I wasn't part of any meetings on the IHRA side for Lake of the Ozarks. And look, I kind of expected not to have a great deal of planning because I mean, look, this is Leah's backyard. She's got the whole board, blah blah. But I was expecting to have something. So when she was gone, keep in mind, Coco ended. Well, our next race is Lake of the Ozarks, and we had nothing planned. Shout out to actually Landis on that, man. I mean, look, there's another person on the IHRA team that does not get the recognition that she should have gotten up until the day that she was let go. She was just in the just in Sheboygan doing all that, and then the next day he gets fired. So anyhow, there was no planning for Lake of the Ozarks. And Dustin's president, he's working back and forth with the board. He's sending me contracts. I'm going through looking at it. I'm redlining stuff. He's redlining stuff. He's having all these negotiations with Leah. I can't remember the president's name. Is it Mark Mawson? Something like I think it's Mark Mawson. Anyhow, I have a conversation with Mark, which is a great guy, by the way. We're trying to. There is no contract in place for this Lake of the Ozarks because Leah's gone, right? So we're trying to nail this contract down. Dustin did most of the negotiation. I mean, I did review it, like I said, and redline it. So the deal was, I was gonna step out. Look, man, I was gonna do my job, but I wasn't gonna go sit in race control. We brought Tim Siebold in. Fucking love that guy. I love Tim Siebold. One of the nicest guys I've ever. Oh my god, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. We had to beg this guy to come in and step up as race director for that one race, and phenomenal job. I wish we had him from the beginning. Great guy. But anyhow, so he's in race control. Stu's in race control. Leah's up there. Ashley's up there. I stayed down by the docks. I stayed down by the docks, down by the cranes. But I'm on the phone the entire time with Tim Siebold. I mean, constantly on the phone. We're on a tight schedule. Rain delays, all this other stuff. So I know what the schedule. So I know what's getting ready to come up. He's like, "Hey, are the boats in the water?" I said, "Yep, you got one more, flying in right now." So hey, all the boats are in the water. At one point in time, I don't want to say her name, but I'm like naming the boats, and she's like, "That's not the order," and I'm like, "Okay." She thinks I'm naming the order that they should be lining up in, but I'm actually just naming the boats that are in the water right now. And so I'm working with Tim. Back to your question, when that happened and those guys went out there and they sat, Dustin was on the phone. I was on the phone with Tim. I can hear it through speakerphone. This is his damn water. Other words, this was his water, his race. He controls it. He writes the checks. He'll do what he wants. And I knew, and look, those weren't the exact words, but it's probably more, his words were more harsh than that. I'm sure somebody on here could comment the exact words, but it was his waterway. It was his waterway. He could do whatever the hell he wants with it. And there was some cussing involved and stuff. So I was like, I knew right then. I knew before. Look, I knew the Tuesday that Tommy was no longer president. I knew right then where this whole thing was going. I knew PWC was going to get out ahead of offshore. I knew this was going to turn into a PWC spectacle. That was, Dustin even said to me, he goes, "I'm going to run it like I own it, like it's mine." It's like, and his goal was to always put PWC in ahead of everything. I mean, that was his goal, and by golly, he did it on that day in Lake of the Ozarks. Those guys sat out there for that whole entire time, and
Well,
I
is
mean,
that what happened on Saturday too? Is that what happened before the
yeah,
World Class One?
yeah.
Because there was.
I mean, look,
rumblings about
going into that race was a nightmare, man. I mean, this is what all the teams don't see. I mean, going into that race, I mean, so I was in Ohio at the main office, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm actually Dustin's there with me, and I'm on the phone with Ashley and Jamie and Brad Bohat, and we're trying to get this scheduling. Any other race we've ever did, super simple. We put the offshore schedule out. They put the the PWC schedule out. They've always filled in the gaps for offshore. Offshore has always been prominent, always. And I've always said offshore will always carry PWC. PWC will never, ever carry offshore. Never. But they've always filled in the dead air time in between races when the heli's fueling or whatever. Lake of the Ozarks was different. I mean, we worked on this schedule for days because now there was 4 new races added to PWC. Everything had to be under broadcast. I mean, truth be told, at one point in time, they were going to cut the production on Class 1 and Supercat because PWC needed the production. I mean, there was Fitz being, oh yeah. I mean, look, I hope Ashley's seeing this because she'll vouch for this. So, truth be told, she's the one who saved that. I mean, yeah, I threw my fit, but Ashley had a different way of dealing with Dustin. She had a better way. I was more direct. She had a more finesse way of dealing with them to where things got changed. And when I tell you we worked on this schedule for days because production had to highlight all the PWC races, all of them. And PWC dominated. Anybody at Lake of the Ozarks race this year, if you did not notice that PWCs took control and they were the most prominent in the spotlight, I don't know what to say, man. I just don't. I mean, I don't know how it couldn't have been more obvious.
That's my point. I was humbled in the Ozarks because I said that on Sunday. Like, after speaking with Bill and Britt and everybody else that I'd talked to Saturday evening, after their scary as heck crash, thank God they walked away.
Yeah, man, that was wild.
But
We could have a whole podcast just on that crash.
right, and I left there Sunday at noon, going, man, these guys are more into the jet skis than they are these boats right now, and I didn't understand it.
Oh, man, it was wild.
I had a big week coming up, so I had to leave the Ozarks early on Sunday, which I was bummed about, but it is what it is. So
That was my first race as being president, so a lot of the questions got steered to me, like off to the side, and it's like, I mean, I didn't have control of it. I mean, I had zero control of this, man. No control over it. I mean,
and you and Dustin
look,
had
truth
already
be
published
told,
that weekend, right?
yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, we just look. I knew Dustin's. I knew exactly what he was doing, man. In my mind was like this: do your thing. I don't care. You want to take PWC to the next level. You want the production. We'll split the cost on production, which, by the way, never happened. At any event we've ever did, St. Pete, wherever, New Orleans, where jet skis were, offshore always footed the bill for everything. I mean, the permits, the land, everything offshore always footed the bill. So PWC always looked profitable, always. Well, take away offshore and see what happens. I mean, sure, I'm PWC can probably still be profitable. You can probably put a race on for $50,000. I don't know, probably cheaper. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody at PWC. I'm just saying they never paid their share of anything, even if it was a third.
Right.
Yeah, I had no control over Lake of the Ozarks, man. It was just wild. It was crazy.
Right. Well, and for those at home that don't know, we're talking to Andrew Hubble. I call him Redbeard, my friend, who was brought in IHRA, and all of a sudden he was president of offshore. And in my opinion, he wasn't given a fair shake, but gave us some great information of the Ozarks, and I felt like Andrew was going to take us all to the next level, and because he's got the background to do that. So if you like what you're seeing tonight, like it, share it. Please share our platform. We're trying to build something. So Andrew,
Make sure you guys share this.
And like it.
so
Make sure you
and,
guys
and like
like
it.
and
That's the big
subscribe.
thing. We need you to like it. So
Yes.
we're trying to get
I
some.
love what you're doing, man.
Well,
I love it.
It's something I always wanted to try, and I think we need this. These conversations are good for the sport. Now
Yeah, I mean,
let's finish with what you did with the IHRA. So what's the surprise? You got a hold of me on a Friday night. Did the pilot fire you that day when you called me, or was it someone else?
Oh man, I got a BS text from some girl in the office who, you know, I she's a good girl. I have nothing bad to say about her, man. Michelle's a good girl. She's just doing what she's told, man.
Right. Sounds like
So-
Daryl needs to grow a pair though. So
Look, let me back up a second. So real quick, I've got to tell this story, and I know I get winded, but let's talk about Sheboygan real quick. We all know it just got canceled. I get it.
Let's do that. And I'll just lead off with you and I spoke. You were on your way to Sheboygan, my friend. You were at the
Man,
airport.
I was in the
when you got
airport,
called
brother.
back.
Dude, so when I was in Lake of the Ozarks that Thursday, I got a phone call from Thomas, and he said, "Hey, do me a favor. Can you jump on this meeting with Sheboygan?" Now, keep in mind, I haven't done any of the meetings with Sheboygan, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So it was like a 2-hour meeting with the city of Sheboygan. I get on the call, and from the very beginning, it was like, "Look, man, I'm very direct. I'm not gonna hold back. I'm very honest. Like I'm just gonna tell you, here's the truth. Like this is where we're at." So I think they appreciated that, and I gave them my word that soon as Lake of the Ozarks was done, I was gonna jump on a plane, fly up there, and I scheduled everything. And I even sent Dustin an email. I told Dustin at Lake of the Ozarks, "Hey, buddy, after this race, I'm going to head to Sheboygan, and I'm going to meet with the city, the fire department, the police department. I'm going to meet with Blue Harbor. I'm going to have Brad or Jamie come up there. I'd already talked to her about it. And, we're going to really nail down Sheboygan and try to, again, there was nothing done with Sheboygan. Nothing. So he's like, yeah. So Monday, I was like, well, I'm just gonna put it in writing. So I come back from Lake of the Ozarks Monday night. I put it in writing. I sent it over. I said, hey, here's my whole itinerary. Here's what I'm doing. Here's everybody I'm meeting with. I gave these guys my word, so I'm gonna honor it. And I'm gonna go up there. I booked my ticket, get my rental car, get my hotel. I get up Wednesday morning. So a whole day's passed, nothing. I get up Wednesday morning at 3:30. I go to the airport. Dude, I check my bag in. I go through security. I'm sitting at my gate, and I'm early. Okay, I'm early. And I pull my phone up and I'm not checking my email at 3:30 in the morning. I mean, I'm barely washing my ass and getting in the shower, and driving to the airport. So
Right.
I get to the airport and I go through security and I start scrolling through my phone, and Dustin sends me an email at like 11 o'clock the night before. I'm already asleep. And he said, hey, I need you to cancel that trip. Don't go up there. Everything you do, now hear me out on this, everything you do moving forward has to go through Thomas. Are you serious?
And Thomas, for context, for everybody that doesn't know,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Thomas Covington. And I'm thinking, are you serious? Like, look, I'm at my gate, man. So took me an hour and 40 minutes to get my baggage out. I mean, they got my bag off before the plane departed, obviously, but they took it the wrong place. It was a mess, man. I didn't get home it took me a while. So, and I didn't know what to say. So I called Thomas, and Thomas said, yeah, I need to go up there and make sure I'm there with you to do this meeting. No, you don't. Like, I don't need you anywhere with me, dude. I don't need you beside me. I don't need you behind me. I would just prefer you to stay way over there and just do your little sponsorship. And here we go.
I'm in, boys.
I would just assume you stay way over there and do your sponsorship engagement.
we just
leave me
got
alone.
to mute Bobby. Just sit quietly. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this is what technology does when you're working for people that teach you how to use it. This is what happens.
that teaches you how to. Bobby knows how to use technology. Look at
Welcome,
him.
Bobby Adams from Dirty Money Racing. He's going to hang out here quietly a second. The
Quietly.
community's growing. Look, there's a lot of people watching tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see it. How do you know who's watching? I mean, I guess to
Well,
me it doesn't matter. But I mean,
on this side of the studio, it's how it works, and I see everything. I've got
yeah,
a
you
lot
see
of
all the
comments
numbers.
coming in, and I got a lot of stars. And thank you, and the Kluwak Cartel, Dustin.
Oh man,
Every day,
gotta
this
love that
dude
guy.
amazes me. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. I've met some of the greatest people in this sport. Okay, I'm going to go back to 1999. And I'm
wow.
going to give a shout out right now to Kyle Dietzen, my driver, the guy that owns the boat, I Throttle. I met him through the Porter family in Formula. I was running for Formula under a name Herbot doesn't like, so I won't say it, but it was Treadwell Motorsports. And, Eric did a lot for me and gave me an opportunity at a young age, and I ran with it. And the people in this sport are incredible. And the
Yeah,
fact that I
absolutely,
came back
100%.
25 years later after my hiatus of raising a family, and I get back in a boat with Kyle Dietzen, and we show up in St. Clair last year and actually place first. It's not a too tall of an order. Herbot had a big breakdown. Felt so bad for him and Cade, who I like to call the Viking of offshore. I know everybody loves his son, Cade. But again, this platform is because of all you people. And Redbeard, Andrew, you're one of them. You and I met and in Key West last year, man, we gelled.
Yeah.
And then I show up and Rick Lindsay had brought, because I sold him on the idea, Kevin Thomas down, my country music friend. Go listen to
Yeah.
Kevin Thomas. Google him. He's got great music, and it's real.
He used to
stuff.
play at my place. So it's something I didn't mention. After like 20 years in the oil field, I forcefully retired in 2020. I'm not going to dive into politics. You guys can figure it out. But I had this wild, crazy idea, and I bought a restaurant, and I had a brewery, and I had an apartment complex. I mean, anyhow, I used to do live music, and Kevin Thomas used to come there and play. So that's how I knew him.
Kevin Thomas is incredible. I'd like to just give him a plug. He was awarded the Grand Ole Opry, the up and coming newcomer of the year last year. So, country music, look out, go look him up. Bobby, how you
Yeah,
doing
this is
tonight,
wild.
buddy?
I'm good, man. I just I wanted to jump in on this, and I think without Andrew involved in this IHRA thing, I think it would have failed much sooner before. We want to all
Appreciate
say
that,
thank you to
man.
Andrew and all his hard work that he did. We knew it wasn't easy, and I know. Look, there's a lot of good people inside it.
Oh, for
That
sure.
are generally affected by it by now. I think some of them weren't expecting the outcome, but like we're all here for you, and we appreciate everything you guys did.
Well, man, I appreciate you, and I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'll be announcing something here by the end of this podcast. What I'm doing, trust me, I'm not leaving the sport. I've got ideas, and I don't know what else do I got to do.
I heard you're coming to hang out with me.
Yeah, where?
Yeah, down here.
We're down there in Stewart, Florida.
Yeah, somewhere like Jupiter or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You
I
guys
am working on it, man.
You guys cooking some
I'm
stuff
working
up
on
again.
it.
So throw us some likes for Bobby Adams and the Dirty Money crew chief here, jumping in on us.
But I am working on that, Bobby.
Well, and that's Bobby. You're in time here. Andrew's we're gonna lead into the next. So the
Yeah, I'm
IHRA,
out.
you're out.
I just wanted to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody at IHRA that
Yeah,
pulled
absolutely,
through, and all the hardworking people that still haven't been paid and stuff like that. Like, I hope they.
We're gonna dive into
I hope
that in just a minute.
Well,
Yeah, I hope they get that taken care of.
Bobby, that means a lot. I appreciate you sending this message. I'm sure it's from
Yeah.
Bill and the whole team. And again,
No,
the
no, they
IHRA
told me not to say anything.
But well, they probably worried. But they
Yeah.
did put on 4 races.
Yep.
They gave it a college effort. They had some great people involved, but as Andrew's been explaining, it just was a chain of events that It just wasn't working.
Yeah.
When you don't have control of it, it's out of your control, right? And,
Yep.
and it's nice to hear this team, Andrew, for me, to say that again. What I felt, a lot of guys. I'm gonna say the majority under that tent. They had faith in you. They believed in you, and they wanted nothing but the
Yeah.
best from you and for what was coming.
It's crazy because I know I know most of everybody underneath that tent. I mean, I go home and I do my research. I mean, like I said, I've been involved in the sport just from a different side, but most people had no clue who I am. They didn't realize what I was doing in the background, and I didn't want to get up there and be long winded and give this big speech. I tried to keep it short and sweet. Um, I had a job and I was just focused on that job, and I wanted to prove to everybody what could be.
I need to cut in real quick. Powerboat News, John Moore, the editor in England. John, thanks for watching because it's late over there. He's got a question. Why
Yeah.
did Daryl Cuddle want to run an offshore series and back Tim Sebold's circuit for racing?
Man, I don't know. I don't have that answer.
Right.
I can guess. I can speculate, but I don't know. I think I tell you what I my personal opinion is I think there's people who made some decisions who wish they didn't that regret them. I think there's people out there. There's a guy, Cody in Texas. Big shout out to Cody in Texas. He was part of the IHRA deal. I think there's people who made decisions one way or another that regret the decisions they made by putting all their eggs in one basket with the IHRA. Yeah, I can't answer it. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, again, it's a lot of people out here talking, and I'll just say it because he's getting a lot of press. The Jack from Cycle Drag, he needs to take a hike. Not only is he rude and demeaning to women, and I don't. That's not my platform. We're not going to be rude or demean anyone. And again, just like the IHRA, they put on 4 races. They gave it their best. Now they're having a lot of problems. Unfortunately, it's all in the social media, the way they chose to do things, the dirty laundry, the Cocoa Beach debacle. It's been a demise of their own creating. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I think the whole thing people have to realize is, Daryl bought IHRA. He would have never have done. This is just truth be told. I don't think he would have ever done offshore if it wasn't for Leah coming in. I truly don't.
I agree
Um,
with that.
yeah, I think there's a few other gentlemen that was a huge part of IHRA taking on offshore. I think that they backed Leah and they backed the idea of it. Look, Leah was part of another organization. She was part of a whole other organization when she
Right.
took on this job with the IHRA. So I think what it was, man, at the end of the day, look, just calling the kettle black, whatever that saying is Daryl had money, people seen it, and people thought, you know what, I can use this to my advantage, and I can tell you by being in Ohio, being there and being with everybody, the money was real. It wasn't fake. It wasn't BS. The money was there. It was real. Some things transpired on the Dorena hybrid side. Um, I think the IHRA, I think it was just built way too fast. I think there was too many disciplines. There was, what's that old saying? Like if he would have stuck with drag racing, just for example, right? I'm just saying, like if you would have stuck at one thing and mastered it, he'd have been all right. But he had actually 8 different disciplines. Website says 6, technically there's 8, but there was 8 different disciplines. You can't be great at any of them. And how many you went through? What, 5, 6 presidents? I guess 7 or whatever, counting everybody now. But like, there was never a plan. There was never like a structured plan put together, a different team brought in, a different advisory. There was just never a plan from day one with IHRA on, look, here's how we're going to do this. Here's the structure. It was just like, all right, I'm making a ton of money. I'm going to buy this. Let's make it happen. And, Daryl's never done. I mean, I shouldn't say he's never done me wrong, and he really never has done me wrong personally. But I mean, I texted him when I got fired, and he just said, "Hey, sorry, I get it." You know, when one company feeds another company, and this company has issues, and that money stream goes away,
Yeah.
this company folds up. I mean, if the right people were put in place from the very beginning, it wouldn't have mattered if this company had money issues or whatever. You know, the structure could have been there, and this company could have held its own. And that's not what happened. And that was one of the major red flags when I first hired in. Is like, wait a minute, we're getting funded by this company, his sister company over here. We're getting funded over here. What happens if this company loses its contract? Does that mean that you know what I mean? So
Right.
again, this, and not getting in Daryl's business, but I mean, look, IHRA is not around for a reason. You know, and I can promise you it's not because Dustin did go in there and just shut everything down. I think, you know, I think Dustin did go in there and say, hey, if it's not making money, we're not doing it. I do think Dustin was all about PWCs. I think he put offshore in the back burner. I do know for 100% fact, I sent, when I became president, one thing I was working on, I mean, I was working 16, 18 hours a day. I went clear back to St. Pete, first race. I went to St. Pete, New Orleans, Cocoa Beach, Lake of the Ozarks, and I put together a spreadsheet of every single person who has not been paid. Clear back to St. Pete with PJ and Chuck Buis, never got paid. Going forward to New Orleans, all the support boats that never got paid. You know, some divers, you know, going to Cocoa Beach, you know, all the divers who weren't paid, all the support boats that weren't paid. I mean, just all the promises that were made. You know, some employees weren't paid. Going to, of course, nobody's been paid from Lake of the Ozarks.
Will they be paid from Lake of the
That's
Ozarks?
all in Dustin's hands. I mean, I've read the messages where he's telling people, "Oh, well, that's, you know, that's the department in Ohio. I don't have nothing to do with that."
Right.
Whoa, come on, man. Dude, I was there. Like, trust me, when Dustin came in, he came in and laid the hammer down, and everybody knew who he was and what was going to happen, and he controlled everything. And look, there's not a penny that's going to move without my permission. I mean, him and I were in Ohio together. We were in the accounting department. I mean, I met with all the people up there. I mean, that's why I can truthfully say that there's really nobody in that in IHRA that cared about offshore. They hated it. You know, it just wasn't their thing. So for everybody that hasn't been paid to date, from whether it's going back to St. Pete for them two guys, clear up to Cocoa Beach and Lake of the Ozarks, all that fell in Dustin's hands, and I put every single bit of that together, turned it in with the spreadsheet, with hyperlinks, with all the receipts. I mean, when I left, they gave it to Ashley, and you know, she turned everything in. It's all there, man. They have it all. I mean, Dustin Klua, I know he's been hammering down. I'm like, dude, I'm not getting paid.
You know, at this point, what's he got to lose? I mean, I get
Well,
it.
nobody has
And
anything to lose. I mean, the
they gave
payouts
these
have all
guys-
been turned in.
Right, and they gave these guys a platform, and that's what they said you're getting paid. I mean,
Yeah.
and that race is over. Pay the man. I mean, it definitely
Yeah, I mean-
the divers, the cranes. I mean, if that's true stuff, then I got even more questions. If the IHRA
Ah.
is going to be, I mean, are they going to be viable for 27, or does he have bigger problems that none of us know about?
Look, I don't know. I know hearsay about what happened with Dorena Hybrid, and I'm not there. It's
Yeah,
all
we don't do
hearsay.
Yeah, we don't do.
Yeah, I don't do hearsay. I just don't do it. You know, here's what I can tell you. When I first hired into that organization, I can tell you that this organization was funneled money from this organization. I mean, that's how, if this organization made money, they passed. And I said it the first week I was there when I was putting all the pieces of the puzzle. I even went to Tommy and I'm like, wait, what happens if this organization loses their contract or whatever? I mean,
Right.
are we okay? You know what I mean? So it's all, I mean, I'm 99.99999% sure what happened, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. IHRA isn't paying people who rightfully worked, who rightfully won the races. They're canceling races. They canceled drag. They canceled offshore. They're canceling multiple events, and that can only lead to one speculation. The money dried up.
Right.
Now, can he go get other contracts? Can IHRA survive 2027? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, at this point, let's be honest. He's lost all credibility. He's upset so many people
Oh,
that
man.
I really don't see how somebody's going to want to chase it next year. Because what if it's the
No.
same? What if it's the same circus that happened this year? Who wants to?
You
Who
know-
wants to repeat that?
Think about all the
You know,
people too, Sheboygan though. Like think about all those people that were dependent on this race.
Well, I
And,
feel terrible for the
all the
Sheboygan
teams
people.
that have
Say
paid the
what?
money for it, and all our stuff's non-refundable. Like
Well-
the town is devastated by it. Mercury's almost embarrassed by it from their post. It sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and
Look, when
that's not the way to do it.
Look, when I got let go, the very next day, I was out eating with my family, and I got a phone call. And it was somebody from the city of Sheboygan, and they said, "Just tell me the truth." And I said, "Well, I mean, I can just tell you what I know." And they said, "Do you think it's going to happen?" And I said that next day after I was fired, "There's no way." I mean, look, we can all hope.
Right.
I mean, we can all hope it happens. If Sheboygan was going to happen, it was going to happen, and I will stand behind this. If Sheboygan was going to happen, it only would have happened on the planning side of things because of Ashley Landis. Period, hands down. Look, I didn't even know who Thomas Covington was when I hired in. I still don't know the guy that well. I mean, I can tell you this much: that race was not going to happen because Thomas Covington planned it. I can promise you that. It would have happened because of Ashley. But on a financial side of things, who would have? People weren't paid from Coco. People weren't paid from Lake of the Ozarks. I mean, do you think everybody would have showed up? And that's what I was telling this. I mean, there was so much financial stuff. I mean, people weren't getting paid. So, I mean, if you win, you're going strictly because of points. You're
Well,
going
I've got
because
an
you
answer.
won
I've got an
that
answer for you on that side of it, and I'll speak for the Super V teams right now.
Yeah.
And the two I can, Knucklehead and Twisted. I don't think either one of those guys would have gone to Sheboygan had they not been paid yet for the Ozarks. Now, they can
Several
chime in, they can
teams.
call me and say I'm wrong, but I think I know Brian and Ed both well enough to know
Yeah.
that if they weren't paid for what you were promised, this is our platform, how it works, right? It's like not getting your paycheck from work. I mean, how many weeks are you going to go to work before you're like, maybe I should quit going there and find a new job, right?
Yeah. And look, I'll say it again, man. I knew when I was let go that Sheboygan wasn't going to happen. I knew. And if it was because of Ashley. And they put a ton of pressure on that girl. When Ashley got fired on Friday, I mean, I literally, I was on the phone with Dustin Glulot. And that's how I found out she got fired. I mean, just being honest. I got a text message and I'm like, whoa, dude, did you know that Ashley got fired? He already knew. I mean, he didn't tell me, but I'm finding out when I'm on the phone. I'm like, holy crap. So I knew right then and there that it was canceled. And then, I've been talking back and forth with the city. Once all this has kind of transpired, look, I think they held out. I think they obviously they want the race, dude. I mean, that mayor's so upset. Everybody in the amount of hours, and this is what people don't realize. These meetings started back in February. Okay. The meetings with City of Sheboygan started back in February with Tommy. Tommy left. I mean, I guess there's a guy up there named Matt. I mean, I guess Ashley or somebody must have taken it over. I didn't even get involved in Lake of the Ozarks. And there's a countless amount of hours the city's put into planning this. The hours and preparation that Anna Frazier with Mercury has put in, and Nicole. I mean, Anna Frazier and Nicole from Mercury. I mean, the amount of time that these guys have put into planning this and getting all this together. I mean, it just blows my mind. I think it's. I think. I mean, I knew I could see the writing on the wall. I knew it was going to not to be that guy. I mean, I'm sure people are going to say what they want to say, but I knew when I got let go that the possibility of that race happening just wasn't going to happen. I mean, I knew there was a possibility. It just wasn't going to take place.
I felt terrible last night for Zacho and the Killing It team, my grassroots guys, because he's got verbos, plane tickets.
Oh,
Boy,
Dustin's in.
this technology, man, this is something.
Oh, man.
You guys got to give us some likes, ladies and gentlemen. It's a surprise visit from the national champion in Mod V, Mr. Dozen Kluwat. And
well, you can say that now, right?
Well, Bob Peak never learned how, but I did. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Congratulations, champ. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Andrew, thanks for everything you've done.
Yeah, appreciate
you've always
it, man.
been somebody, like, you've always answered the phone and kind of just pop in, not take too much of y'all time. I reached out to Dustin Faring yesterday, and to his credit, Dustin did respond to my text. He's responded to my texts and calls each time I've called him. But as far as the, for the president of the company, and look, with this being said, they still owe me money, and I'd like to be paid, so I don't want to, and I doubt that I'll ever get that. But, when I call the president of the company, I get, hey, did you try accounting? Yes, I've called accounting. Did you leave them a voicemail? Well, their voicemail's full. It's been full for 2 weeks now. Nobody's responding to calls. Have you talked to Katie? Katie's a 22-year-old girl that's in accounting that's just constantly getting kicked in the balls because the company she works for owes everybody money.
Dude, hats off to her too, by the way.
Yeah, so I asked Dustin. I was like, man, what's the chances of us? Let's be honest. I said, Dustin, you're reading the same thing we're reading, man. You're the president of the company. I said, for me, it's very hard to hear. Hey, look, we operate 7 different companies here, and if somebody came to me with that problem, for me to say, did you try this? Did you try this? My answer would have been, hey, look. Well, you got 5 minutes? Hold on 5 minutes. Let me go make some phone calls. I'll call you right back.
Yeah.
But
he has that authority. He has that power.
Well, I think the reason that comment's not made is because he knows the answer to the questions that were. I think at this point you're just 100%. Shielding. And at that point, I kind of question somebody's integrity that's going to work for a company that owes a lot of people money. And I mentioned that to him. And look, again, I don't want to beat the guy. Hey, look, if the guy's whole thing was to take PwC and run with it, well, hey, look, the plan worked. But what really struck me is I said, what about this money? Are we getting paid? Are we getting paid? And we're looking at the second half of this season kind of starting up. Well, RWO starting up, and look at the bank account. We're waiting on some money coming in from the state of Louisiana and this, and trying to get it going before we leave town. And in his words was pretty much that Daryl, he believes to be a good guy and thinks that'll make it right to us. He doesn't know when that'll happen, or if, or when that'll happen.
What did he tell you about Sheboygan?
Well,
go ahead and say it.
Yeah. Well, I asked him about Sheboygan. I said, man, what about Sheboygan? I said, bro, we're about to leave Tuesday to head up that way. We're going to do St. Clair. We're going to do Michigan. Look, me and Owen have a race boat. We want to race, we'll race any acronym there is short of LGBTQ, And look, hell, if they throw a race and there's prize money, we'll be there. So, I mean, look, but and that's and he said, well, do you really want to race for a group that owes you money? And at that point,
that's the president.
I knew Sheboygan was dead before that. But look, he it was a valid question. Do I really? But that's the president of the company, and he kept speaking about IHRA in third person, and I'm like, man, you are the president of this deal. You are like the buck stops. Like, we still are owed money from our first place in Cocoa. Well, that was before me. I don't look. You don't get to say that's before me. You're the president.
It doesn't matter.
You
inherited this mess.
They owe me $1,200 for, which I know Andrew sent in to get approved, because I was copied on the emails. They owe me $1,200 because I sent 10 kids to go work for a day in New Orleans to help with the race. All right, some high school kids that IHRA wanted to pay them personally, and I told IHRA, you're not paying them personally. I'm going to pay them. You're going to pay me, because the last thing I want is these kids to be waiting on your money And look, unfortunately, that scenario that I thought wasn't going to happen played out. So they owe us
Yeah.
that. They owe us from Lake of the Ozarks, and that's it. We'd like to be paid and get done. I mean, I understand Daryl has, from what I understand, the guy's got way bigger problems than this offshore series right now. And look,
Oh man, way bigger problem. You know, I can tell you when
and
I put
and
all these
hate,
spreadsheets.
and I hate that for him. But what I also, on the PWC site, this I was going back and forth with this guy named Drew, and look, the guy sent me an apology earlier, and I was like, man, you don't owe me an apology because he said, how are you going to say this and still race future races with IHRA? And I was like, man, the fact that you said future races shows me that you really don't know what's going on. I said, just give it 12 hours. And look, sure enough, 12 hours later, the press release comes out about Sheboygan not happening, and and
Well,
man,
and let's stop you right there. IHRA didn't even release that. Sheboygan released
No, they
that.
have now.
Mercury. Well, of course they have now, but
Yeah.
listen, everybody's been getting fired. Everybody's been saying, and it's never been the guy up in charge doing it and coming out. And my whole thing is, and again, IHRA has never done anything wrong to me, but the man in charge, Daryl, you would think at some point would get ahead of this and simply sit down like we're doing and send a message to the people of here's what's happening, here's what I'm doing, because now it's just all of this, and and this guy says future of IHRA offshore. If I'm listening to this conversation on the outside looking in, that future's pretty bleak here. Looks like it just
Look,
ended.
when I got fired over an email from Michelle in the office, and I called Dustin, and I'm like, I mean, all I want you to do is tell me, what's up, what happened. And he's like, wait, you got fired? Like, he acted like he didn't know. Later on, I found out he was part of it. He knew everything. But as far as going back to everybody getting paid, I put all these spreadsheets together. I mean, we did the payouts. There was several of us that was, three of us that was involved in these payouts. And they have it all. And before I was fired, I talked to Michelle. I mean, multiple times. And she said, I can't do anything. It's in Dustin's desk. He's going to review it when he comes back. Well, I guess Dustin went to Portugal for some jet ski thing. I didn't even know he was going because I called again and she's like, look, he's gone, doing his thing. And then Ashley told me, yeah, he was in Portugal jet ski racing. But the point is, he has the control and the authority to approve it. Because on some of his messages that I've seen that he sent people, he's like, look, I've already approved that. Okay, so where's it at? You know what I mean? And then other messages, like for you, Dustin, well, you need to talk to the accounting department. And, I really don't even know what he say. I don't know where that department is, or I don't know much about. Man, we were in that department, man. He knows. We were all there. I mean, yeah, it's
like
it's
I said,
all
at this point, you think he would come out and make a statement or do something? Because at this point, I mean, and I hate to say it, but it's a dumpster fire, guys.
Man, look, I think the truth of the matter is, I think when Dustin got in there, he came in there and he had all these plans to take PWC, and he was going to shut down other disciplines if they weren't making money or restructure them, whatever the case is. When the well dried up, however you want to look at it, whatever happened with however they were getting their money, when the money stopped, I think he just should have just been honest. I mean, if Dustin Klua owes me money, and I'm racing for his organization, and I call him and I get the runaround, the credibility is gone. Like, it's going to take you so long to earn that back. If I call him up and he says, Andrew, I'm going to be honest with you. Here's what happened. Man, my well drilling business that funds this, I lost the contract, dude. I'm going to pay you, but I've got to get some other stuff done. But that's the truth what happened. None of that's been done. Nobody's ever came out and just said, okay, here's what happened. Here's why the money dried up. And again, it's the credibility that's lost that I don't think they'll ever regain. Do I think because everybody asks me this, will IHRA come back next year? I have no idea. I really don't. I have no clue in the world. If they do, my advice, not that they would ever listen to me, you better stick to one thing and master it. Be really good at it. Be efficient at it. Be profitable. If you decide to move to two things, master it. Be efficient at it. Be you know what I mean? Like, don't come back and try to do all 6 disciplines again. I mean, it would be a disaster. Offshore, I don't think would be. I mean, Daryl loves boats. He's got the Dana hybrid boat, and he broke the record of the shootout or whatever. Yeah, he loves boats. I get it, but he also loves drag racing. He also loves truck pools. He also loves stock car. You know what I mean? He loves snowmobiling. The guy's got more snowmobiles than I can freaking count. When I went to his office, yeah, it was amazed how many snowmobiles this guy had personally owns himself. But anyhow, I don't think IHRA will come back in full force next year. I truly don't. If they do, I think they'll pick 1 or 2 disciplines, and that's it. And one of them, I think IHRA. Somebody sent me a thing today where there's a new PWC series, some Great Northern Lakes or whatever the hell it was called, and I noticed that IHRA is the sponsor of it. Did y'all see this?
No.
No, but I could almost.
Yes,
bet
and I
that
know
the
you
series
did.
Comes back next year as under Monster. You know what I mean?
And that would be
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
To see it go that way, but at this point,
Yeah, it's called the Great Lakes Watercross, July 18th to the 19th, Harbor Beach Cup, Harbor Beach, Michigan, and that's
That's this
sponsored
weekend?
by IHRA.
Really?
I guess
Okay.
it's sponsored by IHRA, so it's like, and they're using the same registration platform the IHRA uses. It's the same, elbow space, whatever you want to call it. That I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Dustin,
I
there's your
think
money.
they should just.
And I'm just going to throw this out there for everybody. Nick Buis has chimed in, and I appreciate that, Nick. And he wants to put together some money, Dustin, if everybody gets paid, so that Ralph and his wife Maria get some unpaid parking money. And I'll tell you that one kind of hurts to see that road. Ralph and his wife do so much. And I'm just
Great
going to say
people,
it
man.
for all of us assholes, because we get upset with the spot they gave us, or we don't like the spot they got, or just one of those things. And Ralph and his wife put up with more shit than they should have to, and to see they've not
Man.
paid money. I mean, to me that's upsetting, man. Like again,
Ralph has the hardest job in powerboat racing.
That's right.
He
Ralph,
does. That's what I told him.
Ralph spends a month drawing up a map telling us where to park for when we get there to tell him that we don't want to park there.
right? That's
And,
what I'm saying.
Hey.
And then he's nice. Hey,
We
get
don't
on the
wanna
golf
be
cart. Let me go show you. And but his wife told me what he likes drinking. So Ralph, if you're watching, I got something for you when I see you in Michigan City.
Look,
and I'm
think about
praying I
this.
get my same spot, but
Hey,
we'll see.
and Christian, and that go. Look, man, when you start seeing good people like that get affected, I mean, Ralph has the most important job there, and he's the first face you see when you go there, and he's a friend to everybody there. And,
Right.
and when
Everybody likes him.
when you see bad things happen to good people, that's just. I mean, look, I took a screenshot earlier. I was going through and I was explaining to my wife, and it's a screenshot, and I'll post it later. But this is a guy in Sheboygan that basically posted that his business ordered a lot more product than they would normally order because of this event coming and stuff. And you start seeing, how will Sheboygan residents, how will we be compensated? The revenue we was expecting. Citizens of Sheboygan deserve an explanation. Many businesses were counting on these vendors, and this guy went out and look. That's the guy you got to go back to Sheboygan next year and convince that, hey, look, man, that wasn't us. That really wasn't us, and that makes it harder for everybody that follows them.
Well, Dustin, you are 100% correct, and they've already had that same issue in St. Clair, everybody, and I'll just say it, American Custom Marine, Michael Knobloch, he had a lot of things guaranteed for people that thought Pro Class 1, Super Cat, Super V, Factory Stock, Super Stock, they were all coming. And I predicted St. Clair, had that gone on this year, that probably would have been the biggest race next to Key West, guys. In my opinion, say whatever you want, but I'm just saying. And then Michael, to my knowledge, he had to go back to customers and say, hey, look, we're not going to have all these boats I promised. And so if you want to refund on your sponsorship for those tents you ordered, I'll understand. I mean, that's eating crow, guys. Who wants to do that?
and take it. And
Well,
you're talking about sponsors with things. Like it was a weird phone call today with the state of Louisiana to explain to them how races get canceled. And look, even in the past year, there's races that get canceled. And this is the only sport that really does that. And I know you've got hurricanes, you've got certain things that are out of your control, but you know how hard it is to explain those people that I've spent most of the day on the phone today telling people that no, Key West is still happening. It's a whole different organization. The cool thing about over here in South Louisiana is we've got an assload new boat racing fans that have never paid attention that are now watching.
hey, I can tell you this much: we're gonna have a race again next year in New Orleans. You already know this.
Well, let's
we're working on it right now.
And let me time everybody out right there and let Andrew step back in. Andrew, let's talk about some of the good stuff you are working on. Just go ahead and just rip the can of beans open, would you?
Yeah, I mean, look, when I got when I got fired, man, it was it was one of those things. Like,
have a good night. I'm out.
Hey, some love for Dustin.
Thank you.
National Mod V champs leaving us. Thanks for stopping in.
With an asterisk.
Hey.
Bye.
See, man. So yeah, when I got fired, it was one of those things where it's like, now what? I mean, I wanted to stay in the sport. I wanted to see the sport grow, and I didn't really know how. So, long story short, I had this idea, and a friend of mine called me up, and this guy wants to stay. He stays in the background, but I can tell you that he's very. He's a huge part of what's getting ready to happen. And one day, I'm sure he'll come to the forefront. But he's going to stay in the background for now. That's his decision. But anyhow, we started our own company, and we started Performance Group. And basically, what I'm doing is I've partnered up with RWO, and I'm going out there and I'm getting contracts for them, and through different cities, and I'm getting sponsorships. One of the things that I personally want to do is I want to upgrade their production. The one thing the IHRA did do right was their production. Yes, it cost a lot of money to do production right, but every team can benefit off really good production. It's easier for teams to get sponsors when there's visibility.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, if you want to grow the sport, you need the visibility. And that's the one thing that they did do right. So I'm working on some media sponsorships right now to kind of help upscale that production. Obviously working on, with different cities to really put RWO on the map next year with UIM. I mean that's huge. I mean, RWO, UIM, going back to December of last year when I was in PRI, I mean, everybody was told IHRA was getting UIM. They're doing a contract. They're doing a deal with UIM. Even Daryl was telling people, Leah's telling people. And then, like I said earlier, Larry went out and got it. And next thing you know, it was quiet.
Yes.
Well, UIM don't matter. No, I mean, it does. There's a big deal with UIM. And it's bigger than some people realize. I mean, is it for everybody? I guess not. But it's a huge deal. And Larry has that. And I'm working with Michelle over there. She's the UIM secretary for Class 1. I'm working with her. And some of the people that have either A, quit IHRA, or B, been fired from IHRA, I'm scooping them up, man.
And
I'm scooping
and
them
when
up.
you say
And I'm taking them.
Michelle, which Michelle are you referring to?
Petro.
Okay.
Did I say her name right? Petro?
Yes, you did. Because somebody,
Petro,
and I'm just
Petro.
I'm going to share some comments so we can keep this going. Everyone
Yeah.
forgets that IHRA, this gentleman George Ivy with HMY Yachts, he chimed in and said everyone forgets that IHRA purchased P1 to get into this whole thing. P1's biggest moneymaker was PWC. That's what they bought. And Michelle was right on it 3 minutes into it, said that's not right. So there's more to that somewhere. And you
Oh,
already
yeah,
said
there's
that
a whole
PWC
nother deal.
is not making money because they're riding on the coattails of Offshore's budget.
Yeah, look, man, like I said, PWC series can make money, but it's just a different scale. Yeah, when you take PWCs and you put Monster behind it, obviously it can be bigger than what most things can be. But PWC will never carry Offshore. Offshore will always carry PWC. There's a lot more to that whole P1 acquisition. I mean, I got my own personal feelings about how that all went down. I mean, you look at an organization that, again, this is my personal opinion. You look at an organization that was on the brinks or on the verge of failing, if you will, and then IHRA comes in and buys them out for, I don't know how much was it, like 2 million or whatever it was. It's like that company wasn't worth 200,000. You know what I mean? No offense to them, but I'm just being honest. I mean,
Well, and you hear people saying that IHRA is going to sell the offshore division, but my opinion of that is,
Well,
what's there to sell?
What's it worth? What
Well,
what are you selling?
I don't know.
Another
What's a
another
blue dumpster
failed
that's on fire worth? I don't
yeah,
know.
another failed organization back to back years.
Right.
look, I can tell you that when I was with IHRA as director of operations, there was talks about offshore being sold through some, whoever. I mean, I guess there was two entities looking at offshore. But I can also tell you when I sat down with Daryl that night in Cocoa Beach and I asked him point blank, is this true? Because I'm walking, I'm out of here. I'm not going to stick around. If you're selling it, then why am I here? And Daryl looked at me and said, absolutely not. It's nothing's for, he's not selling offshore. I mean, look, would he have sold it for the right price? I don't know, man. Everything's for sale, I believe.
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? But I mean, look, I don't know. Yeah, there was talks that offshore is being sold and all this other kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, there's so much. It's like an eighth grade hallway, man. There's so many rumors and so much BS, and I've always just kept my head down and just blocked the noise out and just move forward. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Like I said, I started my own business. I've recruited some of the people who've been fired from IHRA, whether they've been fired or they quit. I'm bringing them on board, and yeah, our goal is to run with RWO and bring in sponsorships up to production, and just I truly believe if this sport wants to, if offshore wants to be anything, you have to, yes, it has to be a monopoly. There's only one NFL. There's only one NASCAR. There's only one MLB. There's only, one PGA. I feel like you have to be a monopoly. I mean, look, OPA's out there. I love Nick. That's a whole nother story. We can go into that story on why St. Clair truly got turned over.
Well, I mean, we got
Because
people listening, so it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
yeah, look, man, I
Hey,
mean, it
I'll
doesn't
catch you
matter.
guys.
Nick Smith is-
I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah,
See you,
Bobby,
buddy.
thanks for
Thanks,
let's
guys.
get some love
I
for
appreciate
Bobby
everything.
Money in the
Yeah.
house. I appreciate it. Make sure you give Bill and Britt and the whole team our best. And
I will.
we'll see you guys in Michigan City.
All right, see you guys.
Hey, guys. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I mean, look, Nick Smith got a raw deal out of this whole thing. I mean, the reason he was one of the first people that IHRA Offshore brought in, and it's because of OPA. It's because of the bracket classes and what he could bring to the table. And he had a deal with IHRA, and that deal was struck between him and Leah. And when Dustin became president, Dustin canceled that deal. Well, when he canceled that deal, there's what happened to St. Clair. And I ran into Bob Carrier when I was in in Cocoa Beach. I seen him on the sidewalk, and I just told him, I said, look, man, I mean, you need to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed when we come to get this contract in place. There was no contract in place for even that. So, and I said that to him out of respect, because it's like I didn't want him to go into this and get blindsided, man. Carrie and Kevin and Jenny and Cocoa Beach. I mean, my God, love them, hate them, doesn't matter. Whatever you guys think. I mean, they got blindsided, man.
Yeah, they did.
It's insane what happened in Cocoa Beach. But so yeah, there's going to be good things coming. I mean, I'm already working on it.
Right.
So I see this guy's comments. Only drawback is RWO is they don't do any payouts. look, I'm not somebody that's gonna overpromise and underdeliver, but I can tell you that I've talked to Larry, and there's things in the works, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, and here's the thing: it's not gonna be one of those deals where we can do payouts now, but you can't do it next year because the well dried up. It's you have to have you have to go in this, and you have to strategically plan for the future. You know, when I became director of operations, I put a 3 to 5 year plan together for IHRA, a 3 to 5 year plan, and nobody ever wanted to look at it. Nobody.
Right.
And it's you have to have you have to go into this with the right team and have a plan. And that's what I think I don't think, I know that's what happened. There was no plan. The team was there. I mean, look, IHRA had a good team. They really did. It's just there was no plan. It was just fly by the night.
Well,
You know.
and that's what I'm saying. To me, it was just poor management, right? Poorly managed, and then
Yeah.
come to find out, they got the guy who's in charge of offshore, but he's got no control over everything. I mean,
Yeah.
you're basically just a talking head then, like okay, I got to go out and say what, and then you can't do anything about it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and look, when I was at Lake of the Ozarks, it was like one of those things. I went into that race like, okay, I got to step back, and I'm going to be respectful. This is Leah's backyard. This is a big deal. I've got a job to do, but at the same time, there's people that are in place that I'm in communication with that I know the jobs are getting done. So Sheboygan was like the first time that we actually could get ahead of the curve and actually plan and do the race the right way. I mean, dude, we had Mercury on board. I mean, there were so many things that we had going for us in Sheboygan, and everything just, I got let go. Ashley didn't have control. I mean, they used Ashley 100%. They used her, and everything is in Thomas Covington and Dustin's hands. And it's like, I mean, look, man, if my dad, and I'm going to say this, if my dad was, I don't know, he's like the third person in Monster Energy. Like, Thomas Covington's dad is like the third highest ranked person in Monster. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's third, fourth, fifth, somewhere in that aspect, somewhere in that range. But if my dad was in that kind of position at one of the biggest beverage companies in the world, globally, right. I mean, my dad would never let me be with P1 and fail. He would never let me stay with the IHRA and fail. I mean, I don't know, man. There's so much I think about. It's like, why is the kid still there? I mean, dude, Monster Energy's hiring a national accounts manager right now. I mean, go jump on board with that. Like, why are you still there? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I mean, I don't know. There's so much to dissect there, but it is what it is. I think there's a bigger plan in place for those guys.
Well, and I think it's great. And I saw Jack Arnett on the live earlier, and he's with the Michigan City X Insurance Great Lakes Grand Prix, and he's agreed to come on the show. I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, that's the Key West of the North right there, man.
Exactly. And and that's another town, in my opinion, that loves what the offshore community, the boating community brings. And they welcome everybody with open arms. Great deals over at the Blue Chip Casino with the dinners and the banquet.
Oh, yeah. Then I'm going. I'll be there.
Yeah, and the fans on that. Last year, the Sky Boss there, Rick Lindsay, heck, he landed his chopper right downtown for the street party before it started, obviously. But
yeah,
I mean, just a great venue, right? And St. Clair.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite races. I love it.
Yeah, and St. Clair before that, that's a favorite site of ours because it's just a beautiful little town on the water with a bunch of great people. And then Sheboygan was the same thing. So, I feel
look, all these race sites have their own uniqueness to them. It's like, somebody asked me the other day, like, what is your favorite site? And it's like, they all have, it's like, who's your favorite child? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like they all have different characteristics and different features to them. It's like, I love the Clearwater race only because, I love Clearwater. obviously Key West, Michigan City. I love Michigan City. I love the Sheboygan race. You know, the Blue Harbor right there. I mean, the way that it's all laid out. I mean, I love that race. You know, Atlantic City. That's a good race. I mean, I think it's, you know, there's a lot of good races out there, man. New Orleans. That's yeah, I love that race. I mean, that's a new one that we're gonna put on the map next year.
Well, I'm excited to hear you say that, and I hope everybody's listening closely with what you're saying,
Yeah,
because
there's
you know, all of my good friends and everything that I've met in this are following that RWO series like we were.
yeah.
And we did follow some OPA stuff. Sorry, the dogs. I got a daughter coming home. We're way over time tonight, guys. If you like our page, if you like As the Prop Terms, please share with a friend. Send us some likes. You know, give us those great stars you all have been sending, and we appreciate it. Now, Andrew, moving forward with this next season, just give us a little quick synopsis of what you see moving forward for 27. And I realize, you know, we've got Clearwater coming up. We got, you know, of course, Michigan City, St. Clair. Then we're going to finish the season. But guys are asking on my end, what does 27 look like with Redbeard and his crew, and what you're doing with Larry and RWO?
I truly believe 100% that with the team that we're building, with the backing we have as far as all the tools and resources, with the team that RWO has on board, I think next year is going to be phenomenal. And the years to follow, it's not like we're just going to have one great year, right? So next year is going to be the beginning. It's going to be the beginning of something great. There's my dogs. I don't know if you can hear them, but they're out there.
Yeah,
barking.
I can, and that's okay.
Yeah. Somebody
and
just came home. Yeah, I think next year is going to be the start of something great, man. I mean, RWO has always been very consistent. They've always been consistent. They've always held the races. I mean, you know, Larry's great. Everybody on the team's great, and it's just, you know, it's like when if I could take the performance group team and RWO, and we can merge them together, and we can work together as one, which we are, by the way. That is happening. Next, it's going to be good. That's all I can say. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I can tell you that I have goals. I have goals for all of offshore, as far as like production goals, prize money goals, you know, stability. You know, am I going to tell you that we're going to come in with $2 million in prize money? Nah, not going to happen. I mean, I'm going to tell everybody right now, not happening. I mean, can we get there? Sure. But the biggest picture is you got to be able to sustain that. You know what I mean? You know,
Well,
you don't want to go into a year and be like, all right, we got $2 million in prize money, but the next year you have nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all about building the relationships with the cities and the sponsors. And this was all part of the 3 to 5 year plan that I built for IHRA, that I'm literally just essentially just going to take over now and apply it to my own company, Performance Group, and then run with it with RWO. I mean, it makes sense. You know, I didn't build this by myself. I had some very, very great mentors that honestly have nothing to do with offshore. That was the most perfect thing about it for me. The mentors that I have and the guys that I built this with, they're not even in offshore. You know what I mean? They're just business owners on a totally different level. And we just stood back. We took a step back and we're like, all right, how does this work? Let's start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Let's build this 3 to 5 year plan. And then once Sarasota 2027, I see somebody just put that on there. But yeah, it's about putting this together, and you have to crawl before you walk, before you run. You know what I mean? That's all I can tell you. I mean,
Right.
It's about building something that can be sustained and walked.
Well,
Or,
and
you know,
we're
be
getting a
sustainable.
lot of comments in and a lot of people chiming in, and we appreciate it. So if you like what we're doing, share it, throw us some love, throw us some likes. We appreciate all the shares. We could appreciate some follows. Our page, I'll just say it, our page has gone over 5 million views. So I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm just going to say that since we started this platform,
That's
we had
awesome.
some goals, and we're going to keep chasing those goals and reaching for the stars because I think it's needed. And this open discussion platform, I like what we're doing. And again, nothing bad about the IHRA. They put on 4 races. They gave it a college.
It is what it is,
try.
man.
It didn't work. Communication is key, Zacho. I think that's one of the things that they really lacked in was communicating. And obviously, they had a problem with upper management having
We didn't even
having
know.
the balls to fire people. And when you got a pilot firing somebody over a text or, I mean, come on, man. Everybody
We didn't even know
was
the people on the
wall.
inside.
Right.
The communication, I mean, I'm a firm believer that everything starts at the top. And, you know, we didn't even know what was going on. We were on the inside. I mean, we were in it. It's like, we're all looking at each other like, hey, do you know what's going on? Nope. Do you know what's, and yeah, the communication was definitely just not there, man. The structure wasn't there. The communication wasn't there. I mean, there was so many good things. I mean, talk about Gary Stray and his tech team. There were so many good things that were happening with IHRA, and it just all went away. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're gonna move forward, and like I said, I'm gonna do what I always do, and I'm gonna put my head down, and I'm gonna move forward, and I'm gonna do what's best for the sport. I don't own a team. I'm not a driver. I'm not a throttleman. I have no money invested in any team out there. I'm literally here for the sport of offshore, period, at the end of the day. I want to see it grow. I want to see it thrive. I have crazy visions. And the thing is I can truly see it. Like I can honestly see the visions I have for offshore, but it just takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, man. It's
Right.
going to take time. And like I said, you just have to have the right team, and I think we'll be okay. I think we're going to be
and one of
okay.
my crazy ideas and one of my crazy visions started back in Key West when the mayor came in and talked about economic impact. So I started doing
Yeah.
homework about economic impact, and I've been doing
Oh,
my
yeah.
homework, Jack, and I'm getting ready to sit down, hopefully with you in Michigan
I
City.
did a whole study on Michigan City, man.
Right.
I think
So,
it's
but
why.
here's what I'm saying: for the cities that love this so much, and they get that great economic impact. And I was talking with a couple other guys earlier. I won't say their names. All racers. Why
Yeah.
don't they take a small number of that real total, okay, of their real tax collected for the city, and then they set aside 3% of it, okay, not a lot, just a little, but 3%. And I've looked up some of the economic impact, and you folks at home can go do your own Google search. It's pretty significant, and just that small amount of money though, and then it's sitting in a kitty, right? And then every team
Oh,
that
yeah.
shows up and registers, that city mayor can come over and at the end of the weekend, hand them a little check and say, "Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming to our town, and we hope to see you next year." I mean,
Look,
I don't
I
see
think you're onto
that
something
idea is
there.
so far fetched.
No, I mean, look, I think you're onto something there. I mean, you know, the guy that I'm doing this with, I mean, like I said, one of these days he's going to come to the forefront, and everybody, you know, you'll see. I can tell you that technology is the key, and I mean, I get communications key, blah blah. Technology is the key to making things happen. There's 2 ways. If I walk into any business, any city, and I say, I would love for you to sponsor me. I would love for you to sponsor, you know, Jackhammer, whoever, you know what I mean? Or I can do my homework, I can research, I can pull all the data together, and I can walk in there with a plan. And I can come in there and say, here's why I think you should sponsor Jackhammer. And I can just lay out the facts, lay out the data. It goes both ways. There has to be interest for the person doing this, you know, the city or the sponsor. There has to be interest for the team, or it goes both ways. It can't be one-sided. And you just have to do your homework, man. Like
Right.
I have literally, I said Jackhammer, and people are like, you know, just joke, like, what about me? But so I can tell you that I did this before when I was at IHRA, and I carried it on. And then when my business partner, when him and I sat down and we took it to a whole new level, I have done a deep study of every single city that offshore has ever done, clear back to SPI days. I mean, literally. I mean, this is how far back that we're diving into this. You have to do the research. You have to pull the data. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's just, that's a big part of it. You can't just walk into St. Pete and say, all right, here's the deal. I want to bring offshore back. You know what I mean? IHRA's gone. I want RWO to come in. Let's do it. You know what I mean? They're gonna. I mean, it's more to it than that. It's you got to start today to have the race in a year from now. I'm a firm believer that the race series should be completely built out by the end of August, 1st of September. And then I'm a firm believer that we should give all the teams, hey, here's the series schedule for next year. Give them fourth quarter to go out and get sponsors. You can release the schedule January 1 to the public. That's okay. But you got to give the teams the ability to go after these sponsors, really mid third quarter would be, ideal. That's kind of the way this 3 to 5 year plan works. But you gotta have that mid third quarter into fourth quarter to go after sponsors. I mean, if you
Right.
try to go after somebody in January, February, March, I mean, it's just not going to happen. Their money's gone. They're not even ready.
Right.
It's
Well,
it's all about just being strategic, man. That's all it is.
Right.
It's like any business.
well, I'll tell you what, we've got you guys. We've gone longer than I've ever gone. Great story tonight. Great conversation. Andrew, I can't thank you enough because I think you've cleared up a lot of, let's just say, confusion that everybody's
Yeah.
had in this series. And again, the IHRA tried something and brought something to the table, and it's not worked out the best. But I think they're worth an applause for what they tried to do. But moving forward, it's not looking real good. And like I said, when they brought you in front of everybody at the Ozarks, I really thought, okay, they're gonna save this thing, and they put this right guy out in front of us, and you took the lead there, and I commend you because it took you a minute to get everybody's attention, but you did. So go ahead.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I came in and I'm looking at everybody and I know they have no clue who I am. Most of the people there are like, who is this? Like most of these guys didn't know who I was. And you got people in the front row, the whole 9 yards. And I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. Like I said, just keep my head down, keep doing the work. And it was just very unfortunate that everything that transpired, my trip to Sheboygan getting canceled, that race getting canceled, the well went dry or whatever you want to call it. I mean, however you want to look at it. I mean, it's it all starts with, like I said, I could beat this horse to death, man, but there was just never a structured plan from day one. And this is what happens when you don't have a plan. And yeah.
Well, and you there's something else you want to talk about.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I get a lot of text messages and stuff about certain people. I mean, they're always asking me like, so there's two sides, right? So me being on this side, being involved with HRA when I was, and being in the weeds with everything, and then people on the outside. People come to, there's rumors and there's speculations and people have, all these conspiracy theories and all this stuff. And people will text me all the time, be like, I think this guy's, doing everything behind the scenes and, he's doing this, that, and the other. And that's not the case. I mean, I don't know, I'll give you an example. Okay, here's one. Take Tyler Miller, for example. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Respectful. Business. I mean, love him, hate him, whatever, but I'm just telling you, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And, just there's people that text me and like, oh man, he's doing this. He's behind all this. He's not. I mean, I can sit here today and tell you he was never behind the scenes doing anything. Look, he owns a team. He wants to race. He wants to win. He's one of the top two biggest names in the sport. Bill Pyburn, Tyler Miller, the two biggest names in the sport in class. I mean, class one. I mean, you know, he's just one of the names that just came to my mind. But yeah, just there was never anybody. There was never a team out there. There was never a team owner out there that was doing things behind the scene. There was never a, anybody like pulling strings or so to speak, or trying to hurt the sport. And I just want to say that because he's one of many people that I mean that I get asked about all the time. But no, there you go. I mean, dude, Tyler's solid. I mean, he's a good dude, man. He really is.
Tyler and Myrick, I got to talk to them and interview them in Cocoa Beach, and they're a card. They're a couple characters, like everybody in this sport.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach out to the Lake Wiley guys. Their name keeps coming across my desk. I want to talk to those two guys because, man,
dude, have them on here one day.
New Orleans Wild Ride,
Wiley, one of the stand-up yeah, great guy, great guy.
Well, again, everybody, I want to thank Andrew for joining us. If you like what we're doing, share our page. To me, it sounds like, Redbeard, you got this going in the right direction, and we're going to be seeing you in Michigan City because you're going to be with RWO, and I'm excited for what this all could bring. I mean, this could be
absolutely, man. I'm going to stand there with them, and like I said, it's all about just having the right resources, the right team, and having the right tools to do the job. And Larry's committed. And look, the guys from OPA, just to give a shout out to them, Nick, Tommy, and all those guys. I mean, I wish them all the best. I mean, I know they're going to do great things too. I know the direction that we're going with RWO. I know that direction, and Michelle, her and I are working side by side. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Well, at OPA, Smitty and the guys, Nick, Boomer, Tommy's with them now, as you said. I've got hopes for them because I saw Smitty and the guys in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And that's
absolutely, man. I got nothing but love for those guys.
Right. So how cool would it be, call me crazy, if everybody actually came together, figured it out for the best of the good of the sport, man. I mean, I know. Look,
man. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not crazy.
Well, listen,
you're not crazy.
Can you
I said it from day one. You got to be a monopoly in the sport. Look, there's going to be other organizations that pop up. It's just going to happen until it doesn't. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest. I'm just going to throw this out there. Who's to say next year Leah doesn't pop up with a new organization? I don't know. Let's just throw that out there. Let's address the elephant in the room. Who's to say that she's not going to pop up next year? There's a new organization, or bring back Pro with Ashley Landis and all them guys. I have zero fear of that. I don't fear it. I mean, if that's what they want to do it. I just know what I'm doing. I know the direction that I'm going. I know the team that I'm putting around me. And I just wish everybody that pops up, and I just wish everybody the best, man. I really do. I just know what I'm doing.
Well, I think it's great what you're doing. I'd love to be a part of that. I'd love to see it blossom. Again, we started this platform for the love and the passion of the sport, and not just for racing. We were at Boyne Thunder last weekend with American Custom Marine, and I'm going to tell you what, there's a whole bunch of folks on the other side with some pretty badass boats that like to go fast, have fun, a lot less drama because there's, different things involved. But
look, who's to say you couldn't have a race up there one day? You know what I mean? You can do an even and odd year thing. You can have your 3 major events, and then on your even years do these races, odd years do these races. I don't know. There's so many different ways you can go. You just have to look at it the right way and just make the right decision. That's all.
Right. And again, up there in Boyne, that's one of those places that city loves the power boats. And you
Yeah,
have to
I
take
love poker runs too. I mean, I wish I
Well,
would have went to that.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was phenomenal. All the folks I saw, I want to give Leanna Shadlow, Leanna Demon Bikini, and Chad Havens. They did some
Yeah,
jerseys for us.
I just watched their deal today.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did some jerseys for us, and they got them to us. She was great to work with. So if you need jerseys, any of this stuff, that man, contact her. They're made in America. So I want to give that a plug. I want to give Ultrasonic Cleaning Machines a plug. I want to give Culver's of Elkhart and Plymouth a plug. Grief Hab a plug. And Magnum Wrapping in Plymouth. Bow. I got to give him a special shout out. Man, he drops things for me when I call with crazy ideas, and he wraps our trucks, our boats. He does some stuff for my company. He does my brother's stuff. He did a funny car for us. Just look him up. Magnum Wrapping, Plymouth, Indiana. And if you got a project big enough and a place to do it, they'll come to you. So
Oh, wow.
that's Bow.
That's
He's
awesome.
great. Yeah, they're just great people, man. And then let's give St. Clair a shout out coming up. And
Absolutely.
gosh, like a week away.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, will we see you
Got
in
Bob
St.
Courier
Clair?
up there and all those guys. What's that?
Will we see you in St. Clair just doing homework?
I think it could be possible. Yeah, I 100% I'm going to Michigan City. Obviously, I mean, obviously Clearwater and Key West for sure. There's a good chance I might go to. I seriously might go to St. Clair. I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't go. You know what I mean? It's just, if anything, it would be nice just to go up there and like the old days, just go up there and just be a spectator. You know what I mean? And go up there and just watch everything happen and just kind of stay. It's hard for me to go incognito. You know what I mean? Most people kind of recognize me. So it's, when I was at the IHRA, I'd already planned on going to Michigan City. And, people thought I was crazy. And it's like, I love it. I'm going to go. So, yeah, there's a good chance I might go, man. Honestly.
Well, and the guy I throttle for, Kyle, he put out his schedule at the beginning of the season. I was like, man, you got a lot on this list here, but
Yeah, man. There's a lot of races. A lot of these teams are doing a lot of races, man. Uh-oh. I don't know if you froze or if I'm froze or if we're both froze. Guess I'll sit here and give it a minute. For all I know, I could be the one froze with a funny look on my face. But on my side, you're the one that's froze with a funny look on your face. Ah, he's gone. All right, guys, it's a wrap. I guess I'll wrap this up for him. Thanks, and like I said, subscribe to his page, like it, do whatever you want to do. He may jump back on here in a minute. I don't know. We'll give it a few seconds. He's probably franticing on his side, trying to figure out how to get back on. Let's see what happens here.
Hey,
There you are.
I
Man, I was
lost.
just telling everybody, I was like, man, if you like it, go subscribe, do all this other stuff. We'll give it a few seconds.
Yeah, Amber was in the background saving me. And
Yeah.
I had to switch. We lost power at the house. Somebody must have crashed, or the grid
Really?
put down from the heat. So,
Like you lost all power in the whole house?
oh, it's dark, man. It's
Oh, wow.
so yeah. I'm running off my cell phone and my light that's with my computer. So,
Sure.
and I appreciate you plugging everything at the end. And again, I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. And Andrew,
Absolutely.
hats off to you, man, for being brave enough to come on my platform and speak the truth, because it cleared up so many things for a lot of people. And hopefully it gets everybody on the same page. And I'm excited as heck that you're working with Larry and RWO and Roderick and the guys, because
Yeah,
again,
me too.
it's
For
a great
sure.
organization, and it's a great place for people to go race their boats, because
as Dustin and Zacho and a lot of guys say, at the end of the day, everybody just wants to race their boats, man. So
Yeah.
let's figure out how to make it work, right?
Yep. Exactly. That's the key, man. That's definitely the key. But
Yeah.
hopefully, I answered all the questions that everybody wanted to, hear.
I think there's a few in the comments we didn't get as I'm learning how to do certain things. You're welcome to
Yeah.
go back through them and you can answer them, later, obviously. But I appreciate everybody tuning in, giving us their time and supporting this platform. So like it, share it. Again, we're over 5 million views. I thank all of you for that. We're going places. We're not stopping. And I'm welcome to work with anybody. And for the people that reached out today that do want to come on the show, I'd love to have you on. And Bill's, I got a comment coming in late. There is so much more to talk about, but my
Oh man,
gosh,
a
and
lot.
we've been on here over 2 hours. I've never done that, and I appreciate everybody hanging out. And for another day, let's have some more discussions. Send me your ideas. Get in my inbox. Send me your ideas for a show. I'm open to listen to anyone that wants to speak on the platform. We're just
So hey, real quick, not to cut you off, I did not mention this earlier because I didn't know if I could, should, or legally and all this other kind of thing because we're in the works and the contract phasing of this right now.
allegedly
But I
that
just
works good, really good.
I just got a text from the man himself, and he says I can talk about it real quick. So I will tell you that on the schedule for next year, there is going to be a Caribbean race. I am heading down there in a couple weeks with
Wow.
with my partner, another guy. Um, the deal is verbally 100% done. Now we're just working through red tape. There's a lot of things that take place when you go to the Caribbeans, right? Um, customs and shipping all the boats and fuel. I mean, there's so many things, and I'm working with Michelle on this. She's going to be a huge part of this.
Wow.
I'm working with Joe on this, and yes, it's there is going to be a Caribbean race next year in 2027 with RWO and for UAM, 100%. I just got the permission.
And you all heard that first on As the Prop Turns.
Yeah, I've
Wow.
been keeping that a secret, man, for so long. I mean, look, it's yeah.
Well,
I'm excited.
you have to keep things close to the cuff in this business, and I understand that. I've learned a lot in
Yeah.
the short 6 months I've dipped my foot into what we're doing with the media world.
Hey,
And
well, it's a dog eat dog world out there, man. I mean,
I
people
got on
will
milk bone underwear.
smile to your face and they'll stab you in the back. And the one thing it's if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And this deal here was brought to the table, and I'm working with Joe to make sure this all gets done and everything happens. And yeah, I just looked down, and I'm glad I seen the text before the show ended because I wanted to mention it earlier, but I didn't have the permission to do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, he just said go for it. So there
And
it
that will
is,
be in
man. It's done.
conjunction with RWO, Race World Offshore.
Yes,
Well, that's huge.
yes,
I hope Larry reaches out. I'd love to sit down with him. I know Jack Arnett is going to sit down. Ray Labadie has agreed to want to sit down. I would love to
yeah,
talk to all these guys about their races and what they're doing and what they're doing for the racers. Because again, that's the
absolutely.
conversation. And I think it's great. The Caribbean, that's exciting. I hope it works. I hope it works for everybody, including the bracket
Yep.
racers, because that's one thing we didn't touch on. And I want to for 2 seconds because Zacho reminded me.
Yep.
Atlantic City, if my math was correct, and Bobby from Red Rum helped me with that, I believe the brackets represented 62% of the boats. So the bracket lives definitely matter. I'm a bracket guy. I've always been in the brackets. My dream is one day to be in the big leagues, but we all know what that takes. And
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm happy where I'm at, and I love the sport, and I'm passionate about it. But the bracket guys, they bring a lot to the show too. And last year, in my opinion, Michigan City, some of those bracket class races were the best races of the day.
Yeah. I know. Absolutely, man. Look, I mean, what's that's the grassroots of racing, right? I mean, I I figured Atlantic City would be primarily bracket classes. I think what was the final boat count at Atlantic City, just out of curiosity? What was it 49, 53, 52,
It,
something like
it
that?
somewhere right in there. It was under
Yeah,
60. It was above 40. I'm
that's
gonna
huge,
say
man. I mean,
right.
that's big. I mean, that is big. I mean, look, I'm a firm believer. You can only go up from there. You know what I mean? You can only
Right.
go up from there. And um, yeah, I think that was a big deal. So yeah, hats off to all the bracket class guys out there. I have love for all the teams, man. I mean, all the bracket class, all the spec classes, everybody. I mean, I do. It's anybody that knows me knows it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter, you know, what place you finish. It doesn't matter any of that, man. It's the fact that you've committed to this sport and you've put a boat together, no matter what class you end up in, and whether you own the team, you're driving, you're the throttleman. I don't care if you're the guy driving. I don't care if you're the guy washing. Every single person in this sport, in this industry, hats off to all of them, man. And it can only go up from here. That's all I can say. It can only go up from
I
here.
I 100% agree with you. You couldn't have
Yeah.
said it any better. Everybody matters, but yeah, we all started in grassroots because I guarantee you,
Yep.
talking to Billy Moff, he didn't start off with a hauler. He dreamed about it.
Yeah.
Talking to Bill Piper, he didn't start in Pro Class One. I mean, it's everybody's got their story, and that's what I love about this. So I'm going to say this with our finishing up in the show. I want to give a
Yep.
shout out to Reverend Jim Black because you, sir,
Yeah.
you keep all of our heads screwed on straight when it's time to get going, and we'll never be right without you involved. So Reverend Jim Black, wherever we go, I hope you come with us. And then I'm going to say this: thanks for watching As the Prop Turns. Please share our page, like the channel, give us some love. And if you've got a boat or if you're a race team and you want to come on the show and I haven't gotten a hold of you yet, look me up, send me a message, hit my inbox. If Darkside Rescue wants to come on and talk, I'm open to it. If Leah Martin's out there and she wants to talk, I'm open to it. If Larry, I know I've talked to you, Jack Arnett, and I know I've talked to you, Ray Labadie, several times. So let's talk about it. Let's keep the conversations going. And then I'll say this: if you want to get involved with As the Prop Turns and you want to be a sponsor of this page, reach out. We'd like to talk to you too, because as Andrew said, big plans coming for 2027, and we're only halfway through 2026. Thanks for
Yeah. You
watching.
mentioned
Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I just said you mentioned Billy Moff's name earlier. I had a great conversation with him in Lake of the Ozarks, and it takes talking to all those guys, everybody, to make this happen. So, yeah.
Well, he's a great
Thanks for
ambassador
having
for
me
the
on.
sport. I appreciate you being on. And I
Yeah,
can't
man.
believe
Thanks
how
for having
long
me
it's
on. Thanks
went.
for everybody listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for hanging out when mine died and keeping it going until I got back in here.
Yeah,
But
I figured
again,
you'd jump back on one way or another.
that's it. Well, everybody give a like, give a share. And if you like what we're doing, just tell a friend. We appreciate it. Hug the ones you love because it matters. And again, I'm going to give another shout out tonight to Bones Logan. I know you're watching. My buddy's fighting cancer and he needs some prayers, man. So get them
Who is
prayer
it? Say his
warriors
name
out.
again.
Bones, Monty Logan. We call him Bones because he's a skinny dude, and he's fighting the battle of his life right now. And I'm praying for him every day, and I hope he knows it.
Same here, man. I'll do the same for sure. 100%.
Appreciate it. Well, again, thanks everybody for watching. It's been an unusually long As the Prop Turns, but I think it was well worth it. Have a great night, everybody.
See you guys. Thank you.